We're going to call the meeting to order. If we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to start with our Golden Apple Awards. Dr. Lanz.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Muir.
Thank you, Dr. Lanz. Our first Golden Apple recipient this evening is Ms. Diane Sazar. Say, come on up, Diane.
Most people are mostly uncomfortable right in the middle.
Yes. So Diane is a dedicated paraeducator in our CI program at Clifford Smart Middle School. She was nominated by the Clifford H. Smart science teacher, Heather Detta, because Diane has been a champion for mainstreaming many of our students into general education classrooms. Heather mentioned this in her nomination. Diane puts time, thought, and so much effort into modifying assignments or creating visuals that will help our students in our science classroom to be successful. She continually challenges herself to make sure she understands new content so she can accurately assist in reviewing with students. I have loved working with Diane over the years because she knows how to collaborate. We are a team and have shared a vision of what the students need to be successful in the mainstream classroom. Diane is always willing to put in the time to create visuals or rework assessments that will benefit our students. She is always thinking of new ways to motivate and encourage our students to learn science concepts and how to demonstrate their knowledge through practice and assessments. Her dedication has a meaningful impact on not only student success, but also in creating an inclusive classroom environment. Diane's commitment, creativity, and heart make her an invaluable part of our school community. Thank you, Diane, for your unwavering dedication, your creativity, and your collaboration in support of our students, and ensuring that every learner has the tool and the encouragement to thrive. Congratulations.
I'm happy to just, You want to turn it over to me or just me go?
No, go ahead.
Okay, great. And now, Foundation for Excellence, our Executive Director, Mrs. Jackie Gerwin.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving the FFE an opportunity to acknowledge some of the great people who have helped us over the past few years. We can't do the wonderful things we do without a great community. So first, I'd like to call up the team from AUK Construction. So come on up. You can awkwardly stand in the middle as well.
Perfect.
And I'd also like to invite Mr. Siegler and Mrs. Crafton, who are part of the foundation board, to come up here as well.
Also stand in the middle where it's awkward.
You're welcome. We are presenting them with an award for the outstanding support and generosity. The award is exactly what it sounds like. It's to show appreciation to people who have gone above and beyond to support the staff and students here in Walled Lake through the FFE. AUK Construction has been a partner in the district for over 30 years. I don't think there's a single building in here that you guys have not touched or remodeled or done something to. While my experience with them is fairly limited, I did reach out to Dave Watkins, who had this to say. Over my 35-year career in the Walled Lake School District, I've had the opportunity to work with the George AUK Company on many levels. They have consistently delivered quality results. Their projects are completed in a timely manner, and when challenges arise, they step up to resolve them efficiently and professionally. From field superintendents to project managers and office staff, the AUK team is personable, responsive, and eager to help. Their ongoing charitable contributions to the district further demonstrate their deep commitment to our schools and their partnership in helping us be the best we can be. So as Dave had mentioned, AUK gives back as much as they help us out with our buildings. They have been the biggest sponsor of our golf scrambles since the very first year in 2010. And this year, they agreed to become our first presenting sponsor, a new level that we developed this year. That was basically because in the past few years, we've seen that more and more people are applying for our classroom grants, and we can only fund about 50% of them. So we are working very hard to find more money to help with more grants, and AUK has stepped up for that. I reached out to Mr. Verlinden to see if they would consider raising their sponsorship level and what we might be able to offer them to make it worthwhile. His response was that they just do it because they want to, and they're not looking to get anything out of it. They just like to give back. He called me the next day, said he had talked with the team and that they were in. So these additional funds that they're donating can help provide many things to our classrooms, like a classroom set of math manipulatives, a digital camera for a high school photography class, new soccer nets for middle school phys ed classes, junior kindergarten visits from the Outdoor Education Center, and 2 xylophones for an elementary music room. Note this is an and statement. It's not that they can provide one of those. The money they're submitting can provide all of those things to our district. So while you might see their name on a fence and know that they're doing work on the outside of our schools, they are also helping inside of our schools. So thank you to AUK for all of your support over the years. The FFE appreciates everything you do for staff and students. So thank you. All right, so next, I would like to invite Nancy Van Leeuwen up. She will also be receiving an award for outstanding support and generosity. Nancy has been a fixture in the Walled Lake School District for many years. I think she may have closed some of the buildings that AUK may not have worked on. Yeah. Not sure. But she spent 30 years as a teacher at Twin Beach Elementary, followed by 17 years on the school board, where she was a strong advocate for teachers in our district. Nancy also joined the board of the Lakes Area Youth Assistance around 20 years ago, where she continues to make a difference by assisting students and families with help finding resources for a variety of situations. Nancy's also, I just found out, a director on the Federal Credit Union Board, the Walled Lake Schools Federal Credit Union. She's shown strong support for PTAs throughout the year, where she attended council meetings and PTA events at various schools. That's essentially Nancy's resume, and that's the stuff she could put in it. But there's so much she does that people don't know about. For example, in 2020, when the world was shutting down for COVID, the Keith Elementary PTA was having their annual book fair, which is a huge deal at Keith Elementary. Nancy went in and donated a book to every student in that school. It made the kids happy, have something to read, and it helped make a successful book fair for Keith Elementary. She did the same thing again this year for Wixom Elementary. And in 2022, Nancy donated funds to all 19 PTAs in the district in memory of her mother, who was also a strong fighter for public education. Nancy's commitment to our district was further enhanced this year with a generous donation to the Foundation for Excellence. As a former teacher, she knows what classrooms need and that they can't always be met by current district funds. We are honored that Nancy gives us this money to help support our programs and support our teachers. She is a fighter for public education, and I expect that she always will be. So we are super lucky to have her in our corner. Thank you, Nancy, for everything you do for our staff and students and for the FFE. All right, last but certainly not least, I would like to invite up Judy Avola. I'm going to say a couple things about Judy, and then I'm going to let Don Burnernhart step up and say a couple things as well. So Judy Avola will be receiving the Michael Burnernhart Award tonight. Michael was a former FFE trustee and chairman who passed away about 10 years ago. While I never knew him, our board speaks about how passionate he was about helping our schools and how he never was in it for the glory. He just worked quietly behind the scenes to make the foundation a great organization. Judy is the same way. Though most people would not call Judy quiet, she is definitely a person who gives back with no thought about what kind of recognition she will receive. Judy retired from Walled Lake Schools back in 2021 after 19 years of being the Director of Community Relations and Marketing. She has hardly sat idle in her retirement, and when she's not skiing and traveling, she's working hard at the Hospitality House, where she sits as president of the board, or she's at the Walled Lake Schools Federal Credit Union, where she also sits on the board, or she's helping the FFE, where she is a trustee on our board. Judy has regularly supported the FFE with her time, donations of gift card, raffle prizes, cash donations, putting together teams for our FFE Golf Scramble, and purchasing tuition expedition raffle tickets. After many, many years of buying raffle tickets, this was Judy's lucky year. While most people would have been super happy to win, Judy's intention of buying tickets was just to support the foundation. So she quickly moved it into a conversation on how she could use those funds to help others. She could have walked away with $6,000 to splurge on a nice ski vacation, but she was committed to making sure those funds were used to support someone's college journey. Judy asked me to help her find a graduating senior she could donate the $11,000 scholarship to. So after some brief discussions, we set up a Google form and started advertising the opportunity to the seniors at each high school. Her goal was to find a way to give students opportunities that they might not have without those funds. In a quick 2-week turnaround, Judy sorted through 155 applications and chose one wonderful student who will appreciate these funds as she heads off to Central Michigan University this fall. So Judy does none of this to get anything back or receive any awards. She does this because she believes in supporting our community in any way that she can. She has made a difference to so many of our students and families here in Walled Lake, and I suspect that she will keep doing that for many years to come. Judy, I know I speak for the entire FFE board when I say that we are honored to have you as one of our trustees. Thank you for everything you've done and continue to do for the families here in Walled Lake. I'm not sure we deserve you, but we are so glad to have you. So, and I would like to also let Don Burnernhart say a couple things.
I'd like to say congratulations, Judy. Thank you, Jackie, for those words about my brother. This foundation was very important to him, and he was quiet, but he worked hard, and all he wanted to do is help people. So from what I just heard, from what you've done, Judy, he would be very, very proud of that. So thank you, Jackie, and this foundation just needs to just keep on track and keep going because it's very important to Walled Lake.
Congratulations. We're moving on to our annual sports recognition. Dr. Lons.
Thank you very much. Mr. Scaling.
Thank you, Dr. Lons. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Brian Swinehart, Walled Lake Athletic Director.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you. First, to the board. Number one, for giving me this opportunity. Just finished my 15th year here in Walled Lake, my 25th as an athletic director, and 35th in education. Very proud to be here. Proud to be in Walled Lake. I moved to here so my kids and my family could go through the Walled Lake schools. Dr. Lons and Mr. Scaling, thank you so much for all of your support that we've had this year. I appreciate it. To our building administrators that are here tonight, to Sarah, Jessica, and Tony, We have a great group of athletic administrators in our district that have done a phenomenal job this year, so very appreciative of that. A quick thank you to our coaches. Our coaches spend more time with their teams than they do their own families over the course of a season. They give up a lot for our student athletes because of their passion, their love, their dedication for not only their athletes but for their sport in our district. So we really do appreciate everything the coaches have given. And finally, the parents. The same way the FFA raises funds and does things to help support our student athletes, our parents and our booster clubs work tirelessly to provide additional things that for our student athletes, our booster clubs and our parents with fundraisings and what they do, that our district, our athletic programs are built on the backs of our coaches and our parents that spend countless hours to help our student athletes. So tonight, as you see scrolling through here, we have our award winners for the district. And I'll keep scrolling through as we present this. What we have for our criteria is for individuals. If an individual is all-state or has made it to the state, is all-state or made it to the state finals, like in track, swimming, one of those sports, they receive the recognition. Also, if a team has made it past regional, so if they win a regional, go on to a semifinal, quarterfinals, round of the state meet, they also have the recognition. And starting last year with the change in the format, we've also added, I think it's really important to honor our individual and our team student athlete academic all-state awards. So we're doing through and adding that this year. So you can see through our awards another exciting year that we've had. Great success for the Walled Lake programs. You'll see as you look through the thing, you'll see state champions, you'll see district champions, you'll see a lot of great success that we've had. A credit to our student athletes for their hard work. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm sure you know, we have one of the largest athletic programs in the state of Michigan. We offer just about everything. That was one of the most exciting things I had about coming here to Walled Lake. The offerings we have, like bringing on boys volleyball, doing our unified sports that we started a few years ago, and growing the unified sports to add bowling this year that was a huge success. We currently have over 500 coaches that are working in our athletic programs right now with volunteers. 250 teams. We have nearly 3,300 events that we run every year and over 3,000 athletes. And all these athletes represent our district and the coaches we do because we feel like athletics is the front porch of the athletics is the front porch for any district. So as we go through and talk in honor today, we'll start off with Western. So Sarah, if you can start coming up, and we're going to honor our athletes this year. Each assistant principal will talk briefly about their athletes and their programs. So we'll get started with Sarah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Facemeyer. I'm one of the assistant principals, also the building athletic director. This has been my 7th year here in Walled Lake Schools, all at Walled Lake Western in the same position. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm proud to represent Walled Lake Western High School as we highlight the dedication, talent, and accomplishments of our student athletes. This school year has been filled with outstanding performances, as you can see, both individually and as teams across a wide range of sports. Tonight, I have the privilege of recognizing the hard work, perseverance, and sportsmanship that our athletes have demonstrated throughout the year. So we're going to start with our football program, which is coached by Corey Saroch. We have a team award for first team academic all-state. We have individual awards for Troy Temple, who was first team all-state and dream team. We have individual Donovan Triplett, first team all-state. Liam Vaughn, first team all-state. Fernando Gonzalez, academic all-state. Nick Hakeem, academic all-state. Lucas Price, academic all-state. Shane Rashner, academic all-state. Fareed Sagban, academic all-state. Joshua Walther, academic all-state. Liam Vaughn, academic all-state. And Drew Wojciechowski, academic all-state. And that is for our football program. Our hockey team, which is unified as of this year, so we have a couple Western athletes who received awards. For individual, we have Cody Gallen for Academic All-State, Harry Guillory, Academic All-State, Dylan Anderson, Academic All-State. We also have a unified women's ice hockey team. And we have Ariana O'Connell, who received All-State second team. Her coach had a comment here and says, Ariana is a tremendous leader and an outstanding goalie. She allowed our team to contend in every game and always works to be a better person, player, and athlete every day. Moving on to our softball team, we have Ava Domzowski. She is receiving Academic All-State, and Brenna Hickson, also Academic All-State. That is coached by Dan O'Connell, whose daughter Ariana O'Connell we just mentioned. For diving, we have Carly Rashner, who received MHSAA State Diving Qualifier. Her coach, Casey Gunsviller, says Carly qualified for the 2024 State Championship in Diving held at Holland Aquatic Center after getting 144th place at regionals held at Novi High School. She came in 19th place at states. For track and field, for the boys, we have Dave Auger as the coach, and we have Troy Temple, who received both team and individual awards for track and field. We have the 4x100 relay All-State. We have a qualifier for the 2025. We have the 4x200 relay All-State for 25 100-meter dash, 10.77, and the high jump, 6.3. And Coach Auger says Troy is one of those kids where his natural ability speaks for itself. The most raw, athletic kid I've ever coached. You will be missed. We have Kaysen Legg, who also received awards in the 4x100 state qualifier, 4x200 state qualifier, 110 hurdles, 300-meter hurdles, and also the school record holder. Kaysen is proof that hard work pays off and shows that the effort you put in will be the results you strive for. Kaysen is going to do special things at the next level. He will be running at the collegiate level next year. We have Rodney Ensley, who is receiving the 4x100 state qualifier, 2024 All-State, 4x200 state qualifier, 2024 All-State, 200-meter qualifier, 400-meter qualifier, and new school record 400-meter dash. And his coach says Rodney can flat out fly. He's only a junior. So we had high hopes. He was up against a couple seniors in the state. And he ended up coming in second, so right behind a senior. So we're looking forward to seeing what he does next year. We also have Kira Havard, who is for the women's track and field, who's coached by Avi Altianu. And she is receiving the awards for 4x100 meter. She's a school record holder, the 100-meter school record holder for 17.17. And she's also an MHSAA state qualifier. Okay, moving on to cheer, coached by Amber Stocks and Michelle Frey, who've been with us for quite some time. They made it back to states this year, and they placed 4th in the state after winning the district title, finishing 3rd at regionals, and finally finishing 4th in the state. They had the MHSA state qualifier. They received these markings for individuals as well. We have Avery Campbell, who received Academic All-State, Zaylee Cox, Academic All-State, Mariana Gonzalez, Academic All-State, Lillian Jack, Academic All-State, Karina Sokolovsky, Academic All-State, Ella Spice, Academic All-State, Elizabeth Davis, Academic All-State, and Emily Beaudoin, Academic All-State. We have, for Emily, she also has some comments here from Coach saying Emily has been a member of the cheer program for 4 years and an all 3-round cheerleader. She now gets to add all-state athlete to her long list of accolades as she transitions to her next chapter at college. Zaylee Cox, individual all-state. Zaylee is a 3-year athlete who is an all 3-round cheerleader that gets to leave her legacy at Western as an all-state athlete. Mariana Gonzalez, also individual all-state. Mariana is a sophomore, is a member of the cheer program for the past 2 years, and is an all 3-round cheerleader with a drive and passion that is contagious. Audrey Brettmeyer, Audrey is a sophomore and has been a member of the cheer program the past 2 years and is an all-three-round cheerleader. She was always willing to do whatever it takes for the team. And then we have Ella Spice, who received individual All-State. Ella is a sophomore and has been a member of the cheer program the past 2 years. She is a round 3 cheerleader with a work ethic that is unmatched. And lastly, for the cheer team, we have Hannah Four, individual All-State. Hannah is a passionate junior who has been a member of the cheer program the past 3 years. She is an all-3-round cheerleader and a positive motivator for her teammates. Congratulations to our cheer team. And then we have baseball, Zach Emmer, and he is receiving individual academic All-State. Coach Peterson says Zach has been a warrior through and through. He has battled through injuries and demonstrated true leadership. I have no doubt he will continue to thrive in his studies and on the field at Kalamazoo College. And last but not least, we have bowling for Matthew Jones, who was a state qualifier this year, which is an individual award. So congratulations to all of our warriors. As we reflect on this incredible year, I want to thank our coaches, our families, our staff, and community members, our Board of Education, who continue to support and uplift our student athletes. Their success is a reflection of that shared commitment. Congratulations again to all of our athletes. You've made Walled Lake Western proud, and we're excited to see what happens next year. And we look forward to even more achievements to come. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Walled Lake Central's Athletic Director, Jessica Fisher. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Fisher. I'm the assistant principal at Walled Lake Central and the athletic director. This was my second year here. It's been a great 2 years, and I have lots to share with you today. All right, so I'm very honored to be standing here before you all and getting to recognize so many outstanding accomplishments of our Walled Lake Central athletes. We're going to celebrate our All-State honors, our qualified state champions, our academic All-State recognitions, and our teams that are making it even past regionals. Their hard work, their dedication, their growth mindset, and their grit really is what makes them really successful athletes, and they have great coaches leading the way. I also want to take a moment and highlight one other program before I get started, our Unified Sports Program, which brings together students with and without intellectual disabilities on the same teams for training and competition. Our unified teams have had an amazing year. They played at the Little Caesars Arena, they participated in a field day at Novi, and today they traveled to Lansing for what was known as Capital Day to showcase their program. So they got to talk to state senators and representatives about why we should continue to fund the Special Olympics and bring these types of events to our schools. Their achievements and all of our athletes' achievements not only reflect athletic excellence, but also the values of inclusion, teamwork, and perseverance that we hold dear at Walled Lake Central and at Walled Lake Schools. Thank you for your continued support of all of our athletes and our programs. So the following students this year earned Academic All-State: Braden Seaver for baseball, Jacob Wan for baseball, Marissa Carroll, water polo, Hannah Song for water polo, Shaylee McCann in gymnastics, Miriam Pelletto in gymnastics, and our Walled Lake Central softball team. They all achieved the Academic All-State designation. The following students earned All-State designation as well, which was Han Chun, first team All-State, and Haley Mack for second team All-State for hockey. We also had some state qualifiers this year. Bennett Manelli in ski. Shaylee McCann was a state all-around for gymnastics. She also was she broke the school record this year in track and field. Miriam Pelletto, she did it in vault for gymnastics. Connor Martin in bowling. Antonio Pulex in wrestling. Diego Becca in swim 100 butterfly and 100 backstroke. The next set of athletes were recognized this year for all region, all county, and all conference. Dylan Akers, track and field. Chase Long, track and field. And then the next two individuals became state champions and broke our school records. So Alexander Gerard for shot put, state champion. And Giovanni Charles became the state champion in the high jump this school year, and they're off to that next step, nationals. Lastly, and really excited, I want to congratulate and wish the best of luck to our boys volleyball team. They won regionals, they won their quarterfinal championship, and now they'll be playing tomorrow in Hudsonville at 3 p.m. for the Final Four. So let's go Vikings, and then hopefully they're playing on Saturday and we take the win. Thanks for having me here today. Next, I'm gonna introduce Tony, the Assistant Principal and Athletic Director for Northern.
Good evening, everyone, members of the board, members of the cabinet, and everyone in the audience and those at home. I am Tony McNamara, Assistant Principal and Athletic Director at Walled Lake Northern, and have proudly served as Athletic Director this past year. Many of you know Chuck Froning, who served in that role for many years in this district, and I have taken on some pretty big shoes to fill at Walled Lake Northern, but have done so with extreme gratitude. What my athletes at Northern and our athletes at Northern have been able to accomplish this year is truly remarkable, and it's a pleasure to be able to speak about some of those accomplishments tonight. I would also like to give a shout out as well. Good luck to boys volleyball at Central, but our Northern softball team will be competing at the regional event this Saturday as well. So good luck to that team. I have many athletes, close to 41, I believe, that I'm going to be recognizing here, as well as some academic all-team, as well as some relays and different state qualifiers, just as Sarah and Jess did for their respective schools. At Walled Lake Northern as well, we have just about 1,000 of our students who participate in sports. And to give you some perspective, we have just about 1,430 students in the school. So we have a huge turnout for our athletic programs, and that includes unified sports as well as all gen ed sports. And again, the participation that I get to be a part of, or that I see and that our students are a part of, is just, you know, tonight is obviously a special event, but big thanks to every single athlete and many thanks to all of the families at Walled Lake Northern that have dedicated their time to our athletic programs, because without it, truly, Walled Lake Northern, it is truly a special place because of our athletic program. So I'm going to start with our cross country, both boys and girls here tonight. I get to recognize 3 of our cross country athletes. Finn Gamerath, who is earning an all-region, all-conference, and all-county honors, as well as being a state finals qualifier. Allie Gallagher, who was a state finals qualifier, and Emily Alt as well for our Northern girls cross-country team, who was a state qualifier. Congratulations to the 3 of them. Moving on to our Northern swim and dive. We had many of our athletes from the Northern Swim and Dive coached by Coach Irie and Coach Williams and Coach Gunsfiller. We have Josie Benke, who earned a state qualifier in the 100 fly, 500 free, and 200 free relay. Brooke Marriott, who was also a 200 free, 500 free, and 200 free relay state qualifier. Molly Zuska, who was a qualifier for the 200 free, 500 free, and 200 free relay. And Victoria Hewson, who was also a state qualifier for the 200 free relay. Also, our coaches had this to say, and that was that they broke a school record. You won't see it necessarily anywhere on a record book, but they were the first one in Northern history to be an underclassman 200 free relay qualifier in the state level. So we are very excited to see what those 4 can do as they continue as swim and dive in our swim and dive program. Continuing on for some other individual recognition of swim and dive, we have Lila Ackrich, who earned Academic All-State and Academic All-American. Tessa Keene, who was Academic All-State and Academic All-American. Emily Massett, who was Academic All-State and Academic All-American. And Grace Molsky, who was Academic All-State and Academic All-American. Many of these girls are seniors as well. Tessa, Emily, and Grace, good luck to all of you as you continue on at your respective schools. And each one of those girls, and Lila as well, but my seniors especially, we got to recognize many of their honors, academic honors, not only at graduation, but at their senior night. And these girls are rewarded heavily for all of their efforts. So congratulations to the 4 of them. Moving on to our girls and boys basketball teams. We have Amal Yunus, also a senior, who earned Academic All-State and All-State Team First Award. She also broke one of our school records for the any basketball player in Northern history, breaking 1,000 points in 4 years, but not only that, earning 1,158 points in all 4 years of her play. It is truly a remarkable feat. And beyond that, she's a remarkable girl. So it could not happen to someone who's worked harder, and Josh Pease, who is the head coach, could not agree more that this is someone who has been a staple and the heart and soul of that program. She will be sorely missed, but she gets to continue to play her respective sport at Rochester University next year. So good luck to Amal next year, and thank you, Amal, for all that you did for us. Also, the team earned academic All-State, earning a GPA of 3.758 or higher, which again, a remarkable feat in and of itself. And then our boys basketball team as well earned team academic All-State. Yeah, and I'll continue on here, but want to pause just to say, I always tell my students, you know, there's a reason it's called a student athlete. You are all athletic students, but you are a student athlete. So to be able to stand up here and just, you know, say all of these academic awards, thank you, Mr. Swinehart, the board and the cabinet for including this as a part of the program, because truly, again, they're student athletes for a reason, starting with the student and then athlete second. But continuing on here. We have Michaela Ratliff from our girls hockey team, who earned All-State first team. Congratulations to Michaela. As well as Kennedy McQuarrie as a freshman, earning All-State freshman team. I got to see both these girls play. Can't wait to see what they do next year. We have some more swim and dive for our boys program. We have Aiden Kefeber, who was a senior, who earned a state qualifier in the 100 backstroke, as well as being academic All-State and All-American. Kyle Hulleberger, who was a state qualifier for the 200 intramural, and Daniel Olson, who was one of our seniors, academic All-State and academic All-American, was also part of our, and some of our other athletes were part of our Walled Lake Consolidated School District Student Athlete Leadership Program. Maybe Mr. Swinehart has mentioned that at previous board meetings, but if he has not, it is a program that we have built here. Thank you to Mr. Swinehart and Sarah and Jess as well, but a program that not only fosters, but allows our students, our student athletes, about 60 of them, 20 from each school, to act as leaders and go through a leadership course with the direction of myself, Mr. Swinehart, Sarah, and Jess. And Daniel was one of those members of that student athlete leadership in its inception year. We look forward to see what we do continue with that program as well. Continuing on with the Northern boys, swim and dive, we have academic All-State for Blake Burry. Congratulations to Blake. And that is all for our swim and dive. We're going to continue on with Northern bowling now. The bowling team had some great success this year. We had Cody Antrobius, who was a state qualifier, as well as, and a senior. Hunter Clary, who was a junior and is a state qualifier this year for bowling. Jacob Goldberg, who was a senior, state qualifier. Colin Ruskin, also a state qualifier and a senior. And Asher Salama, again, for bowling, state qualifier and a senior. So again, a lot of success there. Congratulations to those guys. Moving on to our boys track and field and girls track and field, we have 2 recognitions here, some major ones. The relay team, the 4x800 of Finn Gamerath, Sam Fairchild, Chase Griffith, and Nate Bruss, earned all conference, all region, and all county, and were state final qualifiers. Coach McNeil and I were actually just talking earlier about this team, and they were such an underdog. And to see them shine and continue on and build that trust with each other on the track and be able to accomplish what they accomplished at that level, missed the state by 1.6 seconds. So very, very close, and it's tight-knit when you're talking track and field, or, you know, it's very tight when you're talking track and field. But, yeah, to miss it by 1.6, they were right there. So in my heart, they are state earners, but obviously on paper, state qualifiers. Congratulations to those 4. Anna Weinberger, as well, for our girls track and field, had a really big year, and she's a junior. So next year, we're going to see what she can do as she continues in the track and field program. She is a school record holder now, so her name will go up on the wall as a pole vaulter at 11 feet. So congratulations to Anna in that. She also placed 3rd in regionals and was also a state qualifier for the pole vault. Congratulations to Anna, and can't wait to see what she does next year. Moving on to our softball program, again, recognize them already, but good luck to them this weekend as they take on either Grand Blanc or Howell in the regionals. We have Lauren Wilkins, who earned Academic All-State as a senior, and the team itself also earned Academic All-State. That is the 14th year in a row that the softball team has earned Academic All-State. So congratulations to them. They're coached by Coach Woodard, and I believe now for 14 years. So congratulations to Coach and all those accolades. We have a couple golfers, some of our boys golfers, Alex Lotsis and Logan Fitzrick, both juniors, so again, got another year. They're gonna be competing tomorrow and Saturday in the state finals, so good luck to those boys, but they are state finals qualifiers. So tee 'em high, let them fly, boys. Let's see what you guys can do. Alex DeFinis, moving on to our baseball team. Alex DeFinis, who is a senior, earned Academic All-State. Brandon Jones, junior, who earned Academic All-State. Carson Beatty, senior, who earned Academic All-State. Luke Meehan, junior, Academic All-State. And Matthew David, senior, who earned Academic All-State. Also, take a pause. Matthew David also earned, and Grace Molsky, I should shout out her too, as I said earlier, earned our Scholar Athlete Award, the USMC, United States Marine Corps Scholar Athlete Award as seniors this year, which is a huge recognition. So congratulations to Matthew and to Grace for that. Moving on to our water polo team. This is a united team, but we had some northern representatives here as Academic All-Staters. Samantha Supp, as a sophomore, earned Academic All-State for the Cobras. Adisa Dibra, senior, earned Academic All-State. Grace Molsky, senior, Academic All-State. Meredith Weeks, sophomore, also earned Academic All-State. And then finally, our one state champ, James Moore. Congratulations, our wrestler earned 7th place as he wrestled at Ford Field this year, and he is a junior. So again, he'll be taking, he's got big shoes to fill in the senior year. We'll see if he can make it again to the States and earn maybe even a higher place. Again, a huge congratulations to each of those teams, each of those individuals and the coaches. It does not go without so much hard work and effort from every single person, from the families, from the coaches, from the athletes, and again, all 1,000 or so at Northern that are a part of our athletics team. It brings me great pride to serve as your athletic director because of what you guys do and the hard work that all of you put out there. So thank you for allowing me to serve as your athletic director. It is truly an honor, and I look forward to the continued success for Northern Athletics next year. Thank you, Mr. Swinehart.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you again. And just in conclusion, so a few months ago, I was up at Oakland Schools. I had a meeting with Dr. Delgado, Mr. Gutman, about, I was going over some stuff, and then I hear this voice come around the corner. It's Bill Chatfield. Yeah, I see you all looking, smiling. Bill comes in, and he says, it's like the joke. He goes, Brian, he goes, I hear that participation in athletics leads to future success, because that's one of the things that I'd say over and over again, and I had to correct him. And I don't believe that's true. What I do believe is true is that successful participation in athletics leads to future success. That means you have coaches, parents, athletic directors, everybody on the same page, pushing to work hard, pushing to have teamwork, doing all the things you need to do, and teaching kids how to do that. And that's part of like our leadership program that we started this year. It's a year-long program, 3 in-person meetings. We did Zoom meetings with college coaches, college athletes. We did a lot of different things, and it was really successful. But part of that is getting back to the theme of if you want the kids, you have to teach them how to be successful. And I really believe that. So I am very appreciative for athletics. I've lived athletics my whole life. I believe in what it does for kids, and I just want to thank you for allowing it. It's the best bang in the buck, the best bang for the buck in public education right now for what we have. So thank you again for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and congratulations to amazing athletes. We're moving on to textbook recommendation. Dr. Lons?
You're over there. Mrs. Kohansky.
Thank you, Dr. Lons. As you know, the current English Language Development, formerly known as ESL, secondary grades 6 through 12 textbook resources are now over 10 years old. They have out-of-date content. They don't have enough cross-curricular connections, as we want to make sure that our secondary students have. And it's limited in the supplemental and adaptable resources for our students. It also doesn't fully align with the WIDA state assessment, which is sort of the M-STEP version, but for students who are learning English as another language. And so it also is not aligned with our current Michigan standards. So the committees met throughout this year. They reviewed and piloted several different resources, and a summary document was included in a board bulletin to you last week. But based on those results, the committee's recommendation is to purchase National Geographic Lift and Great Writing Series. It says 2020 through 2025 because I do believe that a couple of those resources were revised throughout that time, but not all of them. So some of them are from 2020, some of them up through 2025. The total cost is from the general fund at $31,684.40, which includes teacher materials, student books, some digital resources, and it meets all the criteria that was outlined in that textbook review. This process is endorsed by administration, and a motion for approval of that textbook adoption will be presented at an upcoming board meeting. I anticipate that you'll have most of summer if you would like to get together, come into the ESC and review those materials. But we would like to try and get those ordered early in August so that they're here to start the school year. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, in our closed session prior to this meeting, we did our superintendent evaluation. We discussed Dr. Lon's evaluation in a closed session, and I move to accept the evaluation designation of effective for Dr. Lons for the 2024-2025 superintendent evaluation cycle.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Now we're moving on to public commentary. So thank you all for coming tonight and for your interest in addressing the board. This is your opportunity to address the board. The board will listen to your statements, questions, and concerns. We will not have a conversation. If follow-up is necessary, a member of the superintendent's staff or board member will get back with you. You have 3 minutes to address the board. Please keep an eye on the timer on the wall, which is over here. If you come close to your time, Mrs. Crafton will let you know you're coming close, and that's for you to begin to wrap up your comments. We ask that all speakers remain professional and refrain from any personal attacks. We're going to start with Mitchell Ray Watkins.
I'm Mitch Watkins, Walled Lake Central, class of 1994. Good evening, board members and community. I want to speak tonight as someone who deeply believes in the power of public education and in the mission that Walled Lake proudly states, every kid, every day. But I also want to speak honestly about the growing disconnect between that motto and the lived experiences of many of our students and staff. There's a growing frustration among paras, special educators, and classroom teachers who are trying their best to support students with complex needs, students who need more than what the general education setting alone can offer. These are students with autism, students who are nonverbal, students with sensory and behavioral needs, that require targeted special instruction. The special education team gathers the data, they follow the process, they work collectively together to make informed, student-centered decisions. But too often, those carefully considered recommendations, particularly when it comes to changing a placement, are denied by administration without explanation. Under Michigan law and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, educational placement is a team decision, not a unilateral one. When one person makes a decision that ignores a consensus and expertise of a multidisciplinary team, that's not just frustrating, it's potentially illegal. And it undermines everything the district stands for. The truth is, inclusion is not simply placing a student in a general education classroom and hoping support staff can make it work. Real inclusion is providing every child with a free and appropriate public education in an environment that truly meets their individual needs. For some students, that might be in a general education with support. For others, the least restrictive environment in a specialized program, like an ASD classroom, where their unique learning and communication needs can be met. When those placements are denied, not for the lack of data, not for the lack of professional consensus, but seemingly for convenience, it's the students who suffer. It's the teachers crying out for help and support who are left to struggle, and it's the support staff, many of whom feel they are failing despite giving everything they have, who are left disheartened. We are not just failing these students, we are failing their families, their teachers, and the very community this district serves. I'm not here to assign blame. I know that the work is hard and the system is complex.
30 seconds remaining.
But I am here to ask for change, for transparency, for accountability, and for a renewed commitment to truly saying every kid, every day, even when it's not convenient. And in my opinion, when they were honoring the children up here with awards that they won, for a board member to not be paying attention on their phone and playing with their fingernails is very disrespectful. Thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you. Hannah Mazzari. Hannah Mazzari. Hope I said the last name correct. Masri, excuse me.
Good evening, board members and other faculty. I'm here today to talk to you about the Walled Lake Western's International Baccalaureate Program. To begin, I'd like to speak about my friend, Elodie. She's in the crowd right now. And December 6, 2022, Elodie did a shadow visit at Western to see if she'd like to pursue the IB program we offer. By the end of the day, she decided she'd like to come to a school completely out of district to follow a higher education. Starting freshman year, Elodie has been driving 10 miles to school every morning from South Line to Walled Lake. After doing the math, for one full year, Elodie spent around $480 coming to and from Western on gas. In total, that was about 3,600 miles. Elodie and her family could be using this money on groceries, family trips, necessities, etc. But instead, she's spending this money on commuting to and from Walled Lake Western. Like so many of us do, Elodie cares about her education deeply and makes constant financial sacrifices daily that not many of us think about. Secondly, there's a lot of students here tonight who are in the same boat. For example, there's a 9th grader I know who was accepted and fully ready to commit to the International Academy. But instead, she was intrigued by Western's IB diploma program and chose to come here. One other point I'd like to make is the importance of creative and language classes that we offered in the IB program. There were several creative classes that allowed students to excel at their artistic passions, while the language classes helped students develop communication skills, cultural awareness, and the ability to think critically in different language-related and cultural contexts. These are opportunities that will not be as available without the IB programs that Western used to offer. Obviously, this program has influenced a handful of students to come to our school as the program was continuing to grow, and now we've been let down by the sudden and uncalled for decision to bring it to an end. I hope everything that is said tonight will help play a part in your decision for the future of the IB program at Western. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Jason Kraft. Jason Kraft.
Good evening, board. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Kraft. I'm the father of 2 kids in Walled Lake District. I want to just bring something to everyone's attention, specifically around transparency. Last month, a kid in my son's class said he was going to bring his father's gun to school and shoot my son and some friends. I found out about it at his 10th birthday party. I was not notified by the district. I was not notified by the school. I was not notified by the principal. I was not notified by the teacher. This is not something that should be happening. If a situation like this arises, all parents in a classroom deserve a right to know. We deserve a right to emotionally and physically support our children in a situation like that. Now, what ended up happening was they talked to a teacher in the situation, and They were able to articulate exactly what had happened. The teacher then reported to the principal as it's supposed to happen, and the situation was dealt with. There were guns found in that house. They were secured. They were locked. We'll see what happens moving forward. But again, I go back to the transparency. Kids should feel safe at school. They should not be afraid to report certain situations. And most importantly, we should allow the parents to be parents. If there's a situation that arises like this, again, I had to wait 2 days and find out again at my son's 10th birthday party when the kids were talking about it like it was nothing. Oh yeah, wasn't it crazy that he threatened to kill us with his father's gun? I was completely taken back. So again, I hope that the school will revisit the policies in regards to if a situation is to arise as serious as this, because 20 miles away, we know what happened at Oxford. I don't want to see that happen in our district, and if a situation like this happens, an email should be going out immediately. Calls should be going out immediately to all parents in the classroom so they can handle it the way that they see fit. So I just wanted to say thank you for your time, and I hope that you guys will look into this policy because there's no reason why a situation like this should be swept under the rug. And it makes me wonder what else is being swept under the rug. Thank you.
Thank you. Chloe Powers.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Chloe Powers, and I just want to discuss some stuff about the IB program. As a current student at Walled Lake Western and someone who's about to begin the program, I just want to share how important that opportunity is. Not just for me, but for so many students who are ready to take their learning to the next level. I didn't choose the IB program because it was the easiest. I chose it because I wanted to grow, not just academically, but as a thinker, a communicator, and as a person. IB isn't just about getting harder classes or more homework. It's about becoming someone who understands the world, who asks questions that matter, and who's prepared to make a difference. The moment I decided to join IB, I felt excited and empowered. I saw a path that could help me build confidence, develop my voice, and connect what I learned in school to real-life challenges. I've talked to countless IB students who all told me the same thing. The program pushed them in the best ways possible and made them stronger, more organized, and more open-minded. And I want that experience, and I think I deserve that. But taking IB away now, just as I'm about to begin, is like having the door shut in my face right as I reach for the handle. And I know I'm not alone. There are so many of us who want to be challenged, who want to think deeper, and who need this program to unlock our full potential, not only as students, but also as people. IB represents the kind of education that prepares us for life, not just for tests. It makes Walled Lake Western stand out and unique. And if we lose that, we lose more than just a set of classes. We lose opportunity, a future we've already to believe in, and inspiration. Please don't take that away from us. My future and so many others rest on the decision that you guys make. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Erica Brennan for Mira. Erica, when you go to speak, will you explain why you're speaking?
Hello, I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of the parents of a kindergartner in this district. The mom is here tonight, just over there. She's not comfortable coming up to the podium because she does not speak English very well. This is her letter, and I'm going to read it as she has written it. My son has a diagnosis of autism, which was documented before he entered school. He is nonverbal and currently placed in a general education classroom with support. At the beginning of the year, he did not have support. Due to the lack of help in the classroom, his teacher had no other option but to allow him to wander the classroom, play with puzzles and blocks in the back of the room while his peers were spending their days learning kindergarten curriculum. This year, both his special education team and his kindergarten teacher have recommended twice that he be placed in an ASD classroom to better support his learning and development. Both times, that recommendation was denied by the administration. To this day, his special education team and I have not been provided with any reason for the denial, despite repeated attempts to get answers. As his mom, I'm not only frustrated, I'm deeply concerned. Michigan law is clear. Placement decisions must be made by the IEP team, not unilaterally by administration. If the professionals who work with my son every day are recommending a change in placement, it should be given serious condition. And if denied, there should be a clear, timely explanation. Instead, I've received silence. I've left messages. I've asked questions. And no one from administration has returned my calls or emails. This isn't just a communication issue. It feels like a system failure. It feels like my son's needs are not being prioritized. And most of all, it feels like empathy and transparency are missing from this process. I'm here tonight not just for my son, but for every child and every parent who may face a similar situation. We need a system that listens to its educators, follows the laws, and keeps parents informed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Vesna Beckstrom.
Good evening. My name is Vesna Beckstrom, and I'm the proud parent of a first and fourth grader at Commerce Elementary. I'm also a proud stepmom of 2 graduates from Walled Lake Northern High School. My first grader absolutely adores her teachers. Since junior kindergarten in Mrs. Bastuba's class, she's been saying she wants to be a teacher when she grows up, something we've always found inspiring and heartwarming. Unfortunately, the school year has brought challenges that have affected her deeply. Since the very first week of school, there have been ongoing disruptions in her classroom caused by one specific student. These disruptions have escalated to the point where the entire class has had to be evacuated multiple times due to physical and emotional outbursts. The same student has repeatedly targeted my daughter, calling her stupid and idiot, ripping up a paper she was reading aloud to the class, throwing Play-Doh at her, kicking her, and pinching her. She's witnessed classmates being punched, stabbed with pencils, and has heard threats made toward her teacher and one of her good friends. We've raised our concerns several times with both her teacher and the principal, and let me be absolutely clear. We think her teacher is outstanding. She has shown incredible patience, professionalism, and care, doing her best under very difficult circumstances to keep the classroom safe and focused on learning. While we fully support inclusive education and recognize that every child has unique needs and challenges, what's happening in my daughter's classroom is not sustainable. The repeated disruptions are affecting not only her education, but also her emotional well-being and that of her classmates. At this point, it feels as though my daughter's right to a free and appropriate education is being compromised. We understand that the school year is nearly over, but we're here tonight, all of us over there, because we need to know what will be done to ensure our kids have a safe, respectful, and supportive learning environment in second grade and beyond. Walled Lake Schools has a duty of care to protect its students from foreseeable harm and to create an environment where every child can thrive. That includes my daughter, and that includes all of our children. We respectfully urge you to evaluate what additional support systems or interventions are needed for this student to succeed without compromising the educational experience of the rest of the class. With the right resources and attention, we believe a more positive outcome is possible for everyone involved. We are here to ask you to provide us a specific plan for how you will provide resources
30 seconds left.
to the second grade classrooms at Commerce Elementary. Our children deserve to know that their learning environment will be safe, supported, and set up for success. My greatest hope is that my daughter's love for learning and teaching will continue to grow, just as it did in Mrs. Bastuba's class. But for that to happen, she needs to feel safe, both physically and emotionally, every day she walks into school. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I think it says Dustin June. Did I get that correct? Dustin.
Okay, it's a little different spelling.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dustin June. I'm the parent of 2 children at Keith Elementary School with a third expected to join in the fall. I'm also a volunteer coach with Walled Lake Community Education. Before I detail the incident that I'm here to speak about, I'm hoping this school board believes student safety should come first, and returning students home every day is a priority. On May 8th of this year, my child that's in the 4th grade was assaulted at Keith Elementary School, and his life and the lives of the other students were threatened by a student who said he was going to bring a gun to school and shoot them. My child's only crime, including this school and including this student in playground activities. The incident with this student is not an isolated one. West Bloomfield police have verified there are multiple firearms in the home owned by the student's father. Further details can be found in my letter to the school board from May 19th. My child is afraid to go to school and asks daily if the student threatened his life will be at school. No child should fear going to school because they think they're going to get shot. This incident falls under a level 3 violation of the Walled Lake Schools Code of Conduct and should be considered a gross misdemeanor under the Michigan Revised School Code. This school board is granted discretionary power under the laws of the state of Michigan to expel students. I'm asking this school board to take safety first and expel the student who made threats against my child and others. To do otherwise would be putting the safety of Keith Elementary students at risk, and it wouldn't be doing any favors to the student who made the threats. As history has shown, this will only embolden the student making the threats as he progresses to middle school and high school to act on those threats if there is no intervention. There are many programs available to students threatening violence, such as Prevent to Protect, and the school board and the administration should be encouraging the family of that student to participate. By the time an offending student brings a gun or a knife to school, it is too late. That student will use it to harm others or themselves. Let's not help Walled Lake Schools become the next Columbine or Oxford High School. Let's prevent a tragedy before it happens. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Danielle Bowmanen.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Bohannon, and I am a concerned parent that has 2 students at Commerce Elementary currently, and I've had 3 through the district. One is now currently at IA West for the IB diploma, so shout out for the IB. But I am here today with concerns with my daughter's 1st grade class. Our daughter has been in class this year with a student that since the beginning of the year has caused excessive disruptions in the learning environment, has had emotional outbursts where students have had to evacuate the classroom. Items have been thrown. Our daughter was hit in the head with a pencil box. They're not allowed to have metal water bottles in the classroom anymore. Students have been stabbed with pencils. Threats have been made to bring a knife to cut up the teacher. Threats to kill students, which resulted in a police report. Verbal assaults daily of my daughter being called stupid, sticking up the middle finger repeatedly. Classroom supplies, worksheets, computers are destroyed. These are just some of the incidents that we know about that my daughter has told me, not because the school has. My daughter loves going to school, especially her teacher. But it has been a very difficult year to watch her self-esteem dwindle and for her to tell me she's scared to go to school. We have been very vocal in bringing the concerns to both the principal and teacher throughout the year, and do believe that they have been doing their very best to manage the situation and follow the outlined protocols by the district. Unfortunately, we feel like the current protocols have been ineffective in this situation, and we are leaving these other children and the teacher in the classroom with an environment that is dangerous to their physical and mental health, as well as disruptive to their learning. So we are here now because we feel like this has escalated to the point that it is more than the school is able to handle with the resources that they have been provided. And we want to bring it to your attention because we believe that it is hindering all students' right to a free and appropriate education. We want to continue to express our concerns, and we urge you to look at the current protocol and put a safety plan in place for next year so that these warning signs are not ignored and we are not waiting for something more serious to occur before we take action. Also, we want to advocate for more resources to be available through sensory rooms, or at minimum, providing extra paras to support these classrooms, these teachers, and the learning environment. Please consider making a change.
30 seconds left.
So that these second graders, soon to be second graders at Commerce, can come to school feeling safe and supported and ready to learn.
Thank you. Jennifer Russell.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Russell, and I am the parent of 2 children in the Walled Lake District. I'm here to discuss a potentially system-wide problem, bullying. It has recently come to my attention that my youngest son, 10 and in 4th grade, has been bullied by a couple of classmates on a regular basis. He has been shoved into a fence. He has been made fun of for his voice, for his height. He has been told he is not smart. He also has invisible disabilities that become quite obvious when he is pushed. That finally came to an apex 2 weeks ago when he was given a suspension for something that could have entirely been avoided had he been given his accommodations by his parapro. I reached out to the other parents in the school and on social media, and I'm told it is a real problem in the schools, and it generally follows the same pattern. The bullied child gets pushed too far, lashes out, and then gets the punishment meted out to them. I've had 20 parents either comment on my query or reach out to me personally who have shared similar stories. It seems as if we pretend there is no problem, we don't have to deal with it. I get it. Nobody likes a tattletale, right? Except in many of these cases, our children are raising their voices to the adults who are supposed to protect them, only to have their concerns disregarded until they must take on this issue themselves, escalating the situation. This does not create an environment conducive to learning. The disregard of children is a nationwide problem that we will not solve here. We have a top-down, adultocentrist way of teaching that is not an environment in which all children learn best, especially those with the learning and attention differences. I wholly understand there is curriculum to teach to a large class, but not having a more democratic way to empower our children to speak up for themselves and their needs contribute to the bullying cycle and certainly harms the relationship between the teacher and learner. We need to collaborate to find a better way. This brings me to now. In my son's case, we were told an investigation was conducted, but no bullying was found. Except these investigations mean nothing if it's a conflict of interest for a school to investigate itself, instead of having an independent third party make it safe for children to speak up without fear of retribution or reprisal by the very adults who've not been listening in the first place. When a parent needs to engage in the IEP process to ensure their child has access to FAPE, it's already difficult. Even with additional safeguards in place, it's isolating to be on the other side of the table if those on the team aren't playing by the rules. It's a tale of 2 schools. I have another child in the district who also has invisible disabilities. The school principal, Seth Tabo, and his staff stepped up to partner with us to best accommodate our child, and he's graduating on Tuesday. I never thought that would happen. In my 4th grader school, many of the IEP safeguards have not been followed, and I have received nothing but pushback and obfuscation to bring this and other matters to mediation. So here we are in an adversarial position, something we never wanted. I respectfully ask the school board to actively look at best practices, conduct a deep investigation of the system that are failing to protect our children, and implement policy that integrates a culture of respect, honesty, care, engagement with one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Ron Lippett.
Thank you, Madam President. Ron Lippett, Commerce Township. My wife Denise and I have 3 daughters, including our youngest, who is a junior at Walled Lake Northern. Allow me to offer my congratulations to the senior class of 2025 who graduated this past weekend. For me, it's been a thrill to see our district's social media feed with shining faces of 918 graduates and their plans for the future. We're excited for your achievements, graduates, and we're looking forward to your impact on the world. It's also a moment to reflect on the updated data, which tells a story of its own. For example, last year, 53% of public high school graduates enrolled in college within 6 months of their graduation. 53%. Yes, it sounds good, but this represents a 9-point drop from 62% we saw in 2019. So how do we explain that? There are some in our community who would use this as an opportunity to challenge the state of public education itself, or perhaps our ability to prepare students effectively. But the data points us in a different direction. What is it? Why are fewer grads attending college? Put simply, college affordability has become the obstacle, particularly since the pandemic. Painfully, the cost of college has more than doubled since 2000. So if a college degree is our goal, the numbers are going the wrong way. But thankfully, Walled Lake Schools continues to provide students and grads with options. As an example, our career and technical education program and its partnership with Oakland Schools is flourishing. Fact is, more than 50% of public school grads have taken at least one CTE class during their time in high school, and this number is expected to increase. Community college is gaining momentum thanks to the Community College Guarantee, along with Michigan Reconnect. These are both programs that would make community college free or more easily affordable to Michigan residents. And the Armed Forces GI Bill continues to cover 100% of tuition for in-state public college, as well as ROTC, which offers full scholarships in exchange for your commitment to the military. Point being, the traditional high school to college path is admirable. But there are many paths to success once our students' time at Walled Lake Schools is complete. Lastly, I had the opportunity to attend the Shining Stars Award at Walled Lake Central on May 22nd. I just want to recognize all of the incredible individuals who support—
30 seconds remaining.
All the incredible individuals who support the special needs community within Walled Lake Schools. You may not hear it every day, but allow me to say it here publicly. You are all heroes. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim Sawmiller.
Good evening, Tim Sawmiller, Commerce Township, using pronouns he, him, and his. Ray Bradbury, the author of Fahrenheit 451, had a great quote. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture, you just have to get people to stop reading them. On September 11th, 2001, religious fanatics who wouldn't even let women be educated flew jet planes into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center and into the Pentagon. Since then, our nation has once again had to fight religious fascism abroad, but I never thought we'd have to fight it here in the United States of America. I grew up in poor circumstances, the only child of a single mother. Reading books educated me and allowed me to escape those low-income circumstances. My mother instilled true Christian values in me and trusted the teachers and librarians to let me read what I needed to read. As a parent, I wanted my children exposed to different ideas and different viewpoints so they too could learn to think credibly and not be force-fed somebody else's opinion. And I want the same for my grandchildren. We have all been exposed to different opinions. That makes us better. It makes us stronger. Adversity has made me stronger. I never wanted my children to be told what they can and cannot read, and I don't want that for my grandchildren either. I have no intention of standing idly by while religious fanatics and these Moms for Liberty types cultists impose fascism on my country. I urge you to think about what a book ban means and use transparency when considering one. Speaking of transparency, about 10 books were removed from school libraries a couple of years ago for review. One was reviewed and returned. The others, I believe, are still in limbo. That is no different than a book ban. I urge you to return these books to the libraries ASAP. Thank you. Happy Pride Month. Remember Juneteenth, and together we can end gun violence.
Thank you. Kristen Kamuth.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Kamut. I am a mother of a first grader at Commerce Elementary. My daughter, Krista, is a student of your schools that has been physically assaulted, mentally traumatized by threats not only to her best friend, but to her incredible teacher. Falling behind academically due to disruptions, taken out of her classroom for periods of time due to the classroom not being safe, and destroyed. She also is scared and afraid to be there. With repeated emails, personal messages, to the teacher and the principal, emails to you guys on this board, we have gotten little resolution. The intensity of the problems continues to grow. At the very beginning of this school, my child had to witness her classroom be destroyed, water bottles thrown, her personal belongings destroyed, and much more. As the school year went on, problems continued to happen weekly, if not daily. In March, my daughter came home sharing that this student was calling her names, scratching her, coloring on her clothing. After spring break, things got more intense. My daughter came home with marks on her spine due to him kicking her in the back. An investigation was opened by our principal, but I have no information on what came out of that. For months now, my daughter has come home expressing how scared she is to be in class and in school. The only thing that keeps her going is her amazing teacher, who has made her feel as comfortable as she can. I am asking for you to look into this and help my child have a safe environment for next year. We had a plan. We need a plan, a better plan than what is happening. We need clear transparency and a detailed plan for next year. I hope that by next school year, if not sooner, you can provide us with a detailed plan. These kids deserve a safe environment and an education as well. Thank you for your time, and I hope that we get a response. Thank you.
Thank you. Macy?
Good evening, board members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Macy Otisha, and I'm a proud parent at Commerce Elementary. I currently have 3 children at the school, my daughter Brielle in 1st grade, a kindergartner and a 4th grader, and 1 more soon-to-be cougar. Our family has always had a deep appreciation for this school and the dedicated teachers and staff who work so hard to give our children a strong foundation. I'm here tonight because I have serious concerns about the learning environment in Brielle's 1st grade classroom, particularly with regard to the ongoing challenges in Mrs. Birmingham's class. Over the course of this school year, 1 student has consistently disrupted the classroom, creating an unsafe and unstable environment. There have been repeated incidents involving verbal and physical threats, not just distractions, but serious behavior that jeopardizes the well-being and emotional safety of the entire classroom. Too many times it's included physical violence that the student has acted on, which has involved shoving my daughter to the floor. And additionally, the student has also verbally threatened to kill my daughter, which led to a police report being filed on our end. Despite the repeated concerns raised by parents and the tremendous efforts of Mrs. Birmingham to manage the situation with professionalism and care, we have seen little to no decisive action from the administration. This inaction has left not only our children vulnerable, but has placed an unfair burden on a teacher who does everything in her power to support the students. Every child is entitled to a free and appropriate education in an environment that fosters safety, support, and the ability to focus. That includes my daughter Brielle and her classmates. When one student's behavior continually prevents other students from learning and feeling safe, we are not just dealing with a classroom management issue, we are compromising the rights of our students. We are not here to place blame. We understand the challenges that are involved in these situations, but we are here to ask for support, accountability, transparency, and above all, action. We respectfully urge the administration and the board to take this matter seriously, to communicate clearly with families, and to ensure that steps are taken to support both the child in crisis and the rest of the classroom. We as parents are exhausted of sending our kids to school daily, wondering of what the troubled student will do next, and holding our breath that it's not going to be towards our student or towards our child. It's not fair. They're 6 and 7 years old. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your commitment to making our school a safe and nurturing place for every child. And I would like a follow-up for my commentary. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Wise.
Mike Wise, Commerce Township. A few months back, the new Secretary of Education and worldwide wrestling promoter, Linda McMahon, gave public schools 10 days to gut their equity programs or lose funding. Public school superintendents across the nation were required to sign a certification declaring that they were not violating federal civil rights law by supposedly acknowledging that civil rights issues still exist. They cite Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which promotes discrimination based on race, color, national origin in programs receiving federal funding. teaching and argue that offering targeted support to marginalized students is somehow discriminatory. This is legally incoherent. The logic would escape any intelligent individual. Conservatives think if we help English learners catch up, that's favoritism. If we give a disabled child a reading aid, we're denying someone else the chance to struggle with reading. If we train teachers to understand bias, we're indoctrinating them. But if we train them to ignore it, we're restoring neutrality? McMahon's convenient sudden concern for equal treatment seems to only apply when it's used to silence conversations about race, identity, and inequality. Would McMahon conservatives like public schools to stop offering translation services during parent-teacher conferences, fire bilingual support staff to avoid the appearance of special treatment, prefer public schools to just teach all content in English, and hope for the best since acknowledging linguistic barriers now counts as discrimination? Do McMahon conservatives want public schools to start removing accommodations, ADA restrooms, wheelchair ramps and such, to avoid offending the able-bodied majority of public school students, cancel occupational therapy together so no one feels left out? If a public school student with a learning disability receives extended time on a test, should we now give everyone extended time, even if they don't need it, just to keep the playing field sufficiently flat and unthinking? McMahon's idiotic letter paints equity as a threat. It is not. Equity is the answer to past decades of failure. Equity ensures all students have a fair shot. It's what makes it possible for a child with a speech impediment to present at a science fair. It's what helps the nonverbal kindergartner use an AAC device that helps students with speech impairments communicate. It's what gives the newcomer from Ukraine help with English as a second language support they need so they are not left behind. The majority of people in the Wall Lake School District are not interested in gutting equity programs for children in exchange for conservative political approval or in abandoning legal, ethical, and educational responsibilities,
30 seconds
satisfy the
remaining.
conservative fear of facts. They are interested in schools where no teacher is punished for caring too much, where no child is invisible, where no child is left behind. We need to fight this in the courts, press, community, and in Congress. Wall Lake Schools will be remembered as the one that stood its ground, not for conservative politics and conservative school board members, but for kids, every student, every day.
Thank you. Erica Brennan.
My name is Erica Brennan. I have 2 children in the district, and I have been a committed volunteer in our elementary school for the past 8 years. I've worked alongside teachers, principals, and the administration in the district. I hope you can walk away with a different perspective and the possibility for change. I encourage you to keep an open mind while hearing what I have to say. I know that this is a complicated and controversial topic. I believe in our community, and I know we can and will do better for our students with special needs. Our special education system is showing serious cracks. I want to acknowledge the complexity of special education. I understand there are staffing shortages, scheduling constraints, and a system that's stretched thin. I understand the increasing student needs have created a tough environment. But what I'm seeing and what many parents, teachers, and staff are experiencing is a system that's not functioning the best way it could. Teachers are burning out. They're being asked to take on more responsibilities with the time or tools to do it. Parapros, many without adequate training or experience, are being placed in roles that they're not prepared for. And special education resource staff are often pulled away from their caseloads to fill gaps, leaving IEP and 504 goals unmet. Students are transitioning from in-district preschool special education programs into general education kindergarten without the support they need. To be fair, maybe when they left preschool, they didn't need that support. But even still, when those needs became immediately obvious, especially for our students with autism who may exhibit aggressive or unpredictable behavior, it can still take weeks for meaningful support to be put in place. During that time, the student's not receiving an appropriate education. The classroom becomes increasingly stressed, as you can see tonight. And it places a strain on everyone, students, teachers, families. These are real issues. Another concern is how our district seems to be handling the least restrictive environment. Sometimes that environment is not general education with a parapro. In fact, for some of our students, especially those with autism, that setup can actually be more restrictive. When a student's assigned to a one-on-one para who hasn't been trained and ends up doing everything for them, that child doesn't learn basic skills or build independence. They don't get the opportunity to try, to choose, to grow. That's not inclusion, that's containment. Our students deserve better.
30 seconds remaining.
Let me be clear. I know your work is hard, and I want you to understand that I'm truly not here to point fingers. I understand there are challenges on both sides. I know staffing is tight. I have empathy for both sides, the administration and those in the building doing the work. But I know that when teams take the time to gather data, develop plans, and look for solutions, committees grow and become better. Some ideas to consider: improved training for paraprofessionals and clearer expectations that is not put on the responsibility of the teacher. Dedicated time for teachers to collaborate during the school day with special education
Time to wrap up.
staff.
Thank you. Lauren, June?
Thank you. My name is Lauren June. My 4-year-old is registered to join Keith Elementary in the junior kindergarten program in the fall. His older brothers are current 3rd and 4th grade students at Keith Elementary. In addition to caring for my own children, I am an active PTA member at Keith Elementary. I am the current Reflections Chair, current Garden Club Chair, and the founder of our new Keith Community Helpers program, and now the newly elected VP of Operations for the 2025 to 2026 school year. Let me be clear when I say I care for all of the students and teachers at Keith Elementary. They're my daily thoughts, actions, and considerations. Their safety and well-being is the utmost importance to me. My job here today is to advocate for my own son, the entire student body, and teaching staff at Keith Elementary. But I'm also here to advocate for the special needs student in my son's classroom who threatened to bring a gun to school and kill him and his friends. While there is still an ongoing investigation, I am here to urge everyone on this board to look at this threat and not only realize that it's not the first time this child has made a threat to this degree, he has also made threats to teachers with an S. But we as parents have not received any reassuring words from the school and district admin of ensuring safety of our child or the rest of the student body. Because of these constrained privacy laws, we have had very few updates as to if or when the student will return to school. My son still nervously asks me each day if that child will be at school. He's scared of him, and he doesn't feel safe. No one wants that for their child, and no parent wants to have to make a choice to remove their children from the very school district they moved to the area for because safety is not taken seriously. According to the school district code of conduct, this a level 3 violation of threatening to use a weapon on another person to cause injury should line up with the discipline procedure to recommend for expulsion, requiring board action. Knowing the district also has to abide by the marsh laws put in place for the special needs student, I am also asking you to use your discretion and advocate for the mental health and well-being of this special needs student. If this threat isn't taken seriously and this child returns, he very well may continue to fixate on this and make arrangements to execute his plan one day, putting the entire Walled Lake Consolidated School District at risk to be the next school shooting story headline. Safety is not something to gamble on.
30 seconds remaining.
Or assume someone's too young to act out or understand what they are saying. The words he chose, "I'm going to bring a gun to school and kill you," shows premeditation in a 4th grade student, and also an option for him to choose if he wants to. We can't take this risk for our kids, and we will continue to stand up for what's right, not only for the safety of our own child, but what's right for the special needs student to get the help he needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Christine Titus.
Good evening. I feel like my comments this evening are trivial compared to what you've heard so far, but as being an educator in our district and a parent in our district, I do empathize with what you've heard this evening and hope that you will truly listen to those that have spoken. But I'm going to go ahead with my comments anyway. As we end another school year, I just want to give thanks to all those I've worked with this year at all levels. We just ended testing season a few weeks ago, At the elementary level, that means M-STEP and iReady. And I'd like to publicly acknowledge and thank all of my colleagues in my building, Hickory Woods, for making the process relatively seamless. I especially want to give a shout out to the 5th graders, the students, and their teachers who not only have to take 4 M-STEP tests, but then go right into their iReady diagnostics. As a former 5th grade teacher, I know what they go through to make sure these students are prepared. One of my 5th grade colleagues is here tonight, and she and her team work their butts off to help get this done, so thank you. Since this is the last meeting of the school year, I wish you all a great and relaxing summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan Blackney?
Good evening, everyone. Board, Dr. Lons, community members, thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the IB Diploma Program. 20 years ago, I was part of the original team that brought this to the board, and it was approved. And today, although I'm retired, I'm still advocating for the program. And I understand that budgets are difficult things, and that things are tight. But budgets really are a reflection of our values and who we are. And so I'm asking the board to reflect and to think about the idea of what's really important. What are our priorities? And the big thing about the diploma program that's so important is the idea of perspective. Perspective that is not only, out there, but the fact that it really reflects on the ideas of all the sides, and it helps to understand the viewpoints of all sides, and then really reflect on the fact that they're all important to listen to, and not to basically lose the fact that we sometimes just basically throw away different perspectives and not really understand them or respect them. It's a respecting perspective. So as you think about what you're going to do with this program, I want you to think about perspective for a moment. I want to show you something that reflects perspective, and the perspective is global, and the fact that here in America we put America first, and there's nothing wrong with America first, but over the last 80 years we've been committed to something that was beyond ourselves, beyond just these shores, and it was a global perspective. My father, who fought in World War II, came home, and
30 seconds remaining.
Before he died, he showed me this. And this is perspective. This, he tore away from a Japanese soldier as he killed him. And what does that say? It shows a lack of perspective, that people have to go to war, that they have to kill each other in order to solve problems that could be solved by understanding perspective. This is why the IB program is...
Please wrap up your comments.
So I want you to think about, as you think about cutting this program, about the importance of perspective.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Katie Krieger?
Good evening. My name is Katie Krieger, and I am the mom of 2, soon to be 3 in the fall, little ladies attending Commerce Elementary. We've had nothing but great interactions with all of the staff at Commerce, and have always been grateful for the community and partnership at the school. That said, I'm here to share the experiences of my first grader and to ask for your support in establishing a safe and supportive learning environment for all students in the grade and school at large. In October of 2023, 6 weeks into her kindergarten year, I was told by my 4-year-old, as I have a waiver kid, that a friend got mad and students had to run out of her classroom. At the time, I was not aware of classroom evacuation protocols and had no understanding of what was occurring in her classroom. After meeting with school leadership, a more formal, albeit limited, baseline of communication was established for instances where students were evacuated from the classroom and learning time was interrupted. While there were instances of, quote, big emotions throughout last year, the situation seemed to be regulated and stable following appropriate support being provided. Her first grade year, however, has been markedly more dysfunctional. Since the start of the school year, our first grade students, mind you, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds, have experienced the following: regular destruction of classroom spaces, some of which that has led to evacuations, physical actions that led to the class being issued school-approved water bottles, objects being thrown, including instances of them hitting other students, a student repeatedly stabbing through the lids of Play-Doh containers with a sharp object, verbal, specific, and disturbing threats of violence directed at both fellow students and their teacher, a student repeatedly stabbing into a school-issued laptop until it no longer functioned. This kid also recently put his hands on a fellow classmate in the presence of our kids. I could go on, but I'll ask you, the school board and leadership, what would your quality of life be if you were experiencing this dysregulation regularly? Would you feel safe? Would you be able to focus on your work at hand? How is it that we are asking our 5, 6, and 7-year-old students to learn and thrive in this environment? I've come to ask for a specific written plan for how the district will provide resources to next year's second grade classrooms at Commerce Elementary and ensure a safe and supportive learning environment for all students. In addition, I ask you to review the Code of Conduct for an assessment of whether adequate protocol is in place to address the severity and repetition of the behavior described. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Noah Springer.
Opportunity is the foundation of our community. Oakland County, Michigan, and the United States as a whole have served as beacons of opportunity for people across the world for centuries. But today, I'm here to speak about how this district is stripping opportunity from its students in its most imperative form, opportunity in education. As I said previously, I'm here to speak about that taking away of opportunity. I'm Noah Springer. I'm currently an IB diploma candidate, a junior at Walled Lake Western, speaking on behalf of the students at our school regarding this cancellation. We believe that this program is integral to the academic success at Western and that it must be restored. The cancellation has left the dozens of students already committed to IB out to dry. It has forced many already committed students, including a few in the back already sitting here, to lose their chance at obtaining an IB diploma, whether it's at Western or elsewhere. It has left the 30% of students at Western scheduled to take IB classes, as well as our school's counselors and teachers, scrambled as they struggle just to seemingly add to the nearly $30 million surplus that our district has maintained over the last decade. But that's the thing. Stripping the IB program will not actually save money at our school. For each student that transfers out of Walled Lake Western to another IB school, or a student that chooses to go somewhere else instead of coming into our district for IB, we will lose $13,000 each year for every student that chooses to do so. Beyond this, IB serves as a branch off of the cookie-cutter school system that has plagued students for centuries. IB's focus on discussion and analysis create a learning environment that fosters genuine long-term critical thinking skills and tremendous growth for its students and the students that take its classes. But arguably the most important thing about IB is that it helps students find their voices. I can personally attest to many examples of some of the most quiet and reserved students becoming some of the best contributors in just a year of taking these classes. We live in a world where the voices of the future are often silenced because those in power are not willing to give it to those in need. IB teaches students the skills and the knowledge that it takes to amplify our voices and have a genuine effect on our community.
30 seconds left.
On top of this, IB has helped people and students in a tremendous amount of fields, whether it's the military, as a lawyer, a doctor, even musicians. In the end, all signs point to continuing this program. We believe that it is vital to the academic success at Western, and we believe that above all else, if our priority is truly every child every day, that is not just the responsibility, but the duty of this school board to restore that
Time's
program.
up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to administrative commentary. Dr. Lanz.
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. Hamka.
Good evening, everyone. A few weeks ago, we had the opportunity to celebrate our retirees. We had, at the time, 56 retirees. Currently, we're up to 60 for about 1,500 years of service, which is absolutely amazing. So I want to thank all those who came to celebrate our retirees, our hardworking and dedicated staff, and we wish them the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hamka. Mrs. Omer.
Thank you, Dr. Lanz. As we move into this final part of the school year, we're moving into the audit season for the business office. We had our first visit for the preliminary this week and had an opportunity to visit with our auditors and talk about the items, as well as looking forward to the year end. We are also planning for the new year by collaborating with HR and with student services and IT to entertain the secretarial staff in August to provide a meaningful training and try to get them ready for the coming year. I know we don't necessarily want to think about that at this time, but it will become upon us very quickly. In addition, during the summertime, and as well as wrapping up the year end, we're also looking at refinement of our processes and procedures in payroll, student services, and as well as in our business office to try to make things more streamlined and continuing the support that we provide for the schools to the best of our ability.
Thank you very much. Ms. Muir.
Thank you, Dr. Lanz. I'd like to mention and recap that we had our annual Shining Stars Awards ceremony that is put on by our Walled Lake Parent Advisory Committee, or our PAC. This year, there were 90 nominees and 2 winners that ranged from everyone across the district, from business official, office staff, to students, transportation staff, to early on staff. And so it was a beautiful event. We had a resource fair with community agencies and other partners the hour before, so parents could come in and get information. And so we're just really excited about honoring those people, those staff in the community that really support our students with exceptionalities each and every day.
Thank you very much. Ms. Zakwanski.
Thank you, Dr. Lanz. I want to echo Mrs. Titus's comments tonight. Thank you to all of our teachers for getting through this testing season. It's certainly not easy for those in K-8. They not only give the MSTEP test, which we're required to do during the state window, but we're also required to give the iReady diagnostic as part of the legislation that was passed several years ago. So those are 2 really heavy tests. I know our 5th graders are exhausted. I think our 5th grade teachers are as well. So I do appreciate that. I just want to give a shout out and thanks to stakeholders really all across the district, a number of teacher leaders, our instructional specialists, our admin, our special services staff, folks that have really been involved in giving lots of input over the last month or so on our professional development plan for 25-26. And as you know, we're a really big district. We have a lot of big needs. Typically, people come, we start this process with a list of about 28 really important topics that we want to do professional learning on, and then somehow we have to think about how we fit that into 7 half days. So we do have to start to prioritize and think about how we work on that together. together. So I'm thankful for the work from that team. We still have a few more tweaks to make to that, but our professional learning for our teachers, all teachers, will be finalized before we all kind of break in June. That will be shared with our staff when we get back in August. So I just want to thank everybody. It's been a big lift across the team and the department, making sure that we get all voices heard when it looks at that professional learning calendar, making sure it aligns with our district goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durkin.
Thank you, Dr. Lons. I just want to give a shout out to the community relations team. I have here the final learning of the school year. It should be making its way to a mailbox near you starting tomorrow. It's going to be dropped off at the post office. Lots of great stuff in here, including celebrating our graduates and just some amazing stories. So I want to appreciate the team for all their hard work. And then it occurred to me, I started the school year with a request for homework in the summer for our back to school signs, for our first day of school signs. So to wrap that up nicely, we have our last day of school signs this year. There's actually some out on the table for those in attendance. We've been sharing it in the district update. It's available online. And if you would like to take your last day pictures with your kiddos or any staff certainly listening that would like to send these to us, we'll make sure we share them on the district social media feeds. And thanks for a great year.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Scaling.
Thank you, Dr. Lons. I just wanted to give a special recognition to our principals and teacher leaders who have planned fantastic senior celebration activities through the end of the year. There's a lot of work that goes in to make those experiences memorable and enjoyable for all the seniors, so I thank them for that. I also want to thank the high school administrative teams for graduation ceremonies. As a previous high school principal, I understand all the work and time and energy and dedication to making those very special experiences as well, and they were fantastic on Sunday, so kudos to our administrative teams and teacher leaders. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scaling. Since last we met, a number of things I'd like to highlight. I share your comment on being a former high school principal, the challenges that come in with pulling off a successful graduation. I mentioned to our high school principals, actually all of our leadership, about 3 weeks ago, that as a high school principal, there's only 3 things you can't screw up. You can't screw up the master schedule because kids need to be in classes and teachers need to know what they're going to teach. You can't screw up prom because you can't redo that. And you can't screw up graduation because everybody sees that. So I'm happy to say that it was very successful. I have a lot of things I could say about it, but I'm guessing that a couple other people at the table will have some things to say about graduation. Congratulations to the Outdoor Education Center. Our Dublin campers were able to participate in archery, and so archery has come back to our Outdoor Education Center. We have a staff member, many of you may know, Mr. Patrick Dzinski, who was selected as the District 4 Band Teacher of the Year for the 25-26 school year. That's fantastic. Earlier this week, I had a chance to meet with our Galileo teachers, and we have 2 different cohorts. So I met with the first-year cohort, and they shared their stories of what they accomplished this year. Very impressed with what our Galileo teachers are able to do. Galileo is a program that is countywide, might even be national, but in our county, the purpose of Galileo is to develop teacher leadership within the classroom and within your building. And so next year, they'll take what they've learned this year, stick with their cohort of the Oakland County plus our own district, and continue to expand their influence and their leadership throughout the district. So thank you for their sacrifice of time. Our very own Dan Durkin and his team have received a number of awards. For the Learning Newsletter, he received an Excellence Level of Award. For a Walled Lake Northern alumni article talking about achieving a Guinness World Record, they received Excellence Award. For our School of Choice campaign video series, they received Excellence Award. For our summer scavenger hunt, they received an honorable mention in the category of social media. And finally, they received an honorable mention for Michigan Day video. So Dan, congratulations to you and your team. I'd also like to congratulate our very own Mr. Niall Mukhtari for being the PTSA Administrator of the Year. I'll have to talk to Jessica Fisher about this because she stole my thunder when it came to the boys' volleyball team at Central, but congratulations to them. Continuing on with our performing arts areas, our Walled Lake Performing Arts Ensemble performed at the Michigan Alliance Performing Arts State Championships and claimed its 15th straight state championship. So congratulations to them. And Madam President, I turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Board commentary. We're going to start with Mrs. Levin.
Thank you. Graduation this past weekend was wonderful. It's a long day, but a great day, great way to wrap up the year. Congratulations to all the graduating seniors and their parents who got them across the finish line. My heart goes out to everybody who's got concerns about their kids. The board can't comment about each individual situation, but just know that we hear you. And just as a note to lighten the mood, I love your Cougar Mom shirts. Starting that a long time ago, I never thought that would stick, so I'm glad that that did. The superintendent evaluation process changed. I'm not going to talk about the process we went through, but I just want the community to know that highly effective is no longer an option. So by rating Dr. Lon's effective, that is the highest rating that he can receive. So I just want the community to be aware of that. The comments about the IB program are certainly not comments that fall on deaf ears. The decisions about that are not board decisions. But it does make me wonder, what can we do to make all of our learning better, right? Why should a small program or a certain amount of classes be the best? Why can't all of our classes be the best? So, maybe just a challenge for all of us as a board, as administrators, as whatever our roles are, but how do we make everything better? A rising tide lifts all ships. So, certainly something to think about there. And then finally, the board may have seen, and certainly maybe the community has seen, that I have a request in to the administration to remove energy drinks from our schools. The energy drinks have taurine in them, which is a known cancer-causing accelerator, and it's not necessary. Our kids don't need that stuff, and we certainly don't need to be the ones providing it. If parents want their kids to have energy drinks, they can send them from home. I also think that we need to remove all sodas from our schools. The diet stuff, the sugar-free stuff, there's nothing healthy about that just because it says sugar-free and diet, and just because the state or the FDA says it's okay, it's not okay. We don't need to be providing that kind of stuff to our students. So hopefully the board will join me in supporting that. I don't see any reason why that needs to be in our schools, and I challenge anyone to challenge me on my opinion. Thanks.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Ms. Kaplan. Thank you to those who spoke this evening and who have reached out and posted very constructive dialogues and topics, as was stated as well as a fellow parent. It does hurt to hear and does not fall on deaf ears as well. I applaud your advocacy this evening, and our job now is, of course, to follow through and to actually look at those policies that you brought up. That is our role. Just a general few updates. First, I want to say how much fun I had chaperoning the 5th grade Dublin trip to DIA with my son, Andrew. These are some of those amazing opportunities that we were provided, and it's kind of bittersweet because it's one of his last events, if you will, aside from next week's graduation, that I will be moving out of the elementary phase and into both being in CHS. Second, I want to give an amazing shout out to Mr. Abbott and the CHS choir for their amazing performance last week. I'm happy again that my daughter can flourish in this amazing class and the structure that's at CHS. I attended the retirement reception, and it was amazing to witness all of the amazing stories and impact from all of the teachers and the staff that we have, and some of the amazing amount of years that is leaving, but the impact that they made not only in students but fellow educators. It was a wonderful retirement reception to be a part of. Fourth, I was blown away, of course, by the graduation ceremonies. Being a graduate myself of Walled Lake Central, it's kind of one thing to be out there, and now to actually see it again so many years later, it's amazing to see that. And just congrats to all those graduating seniors and all the families and teachers who helped guide them through the 13 years of education and prepare them for their futures. So go out and change the world. Fifth, as we head into the last week of school, I want to say thank you to all the staff, administrators, teachers, and students for all the amazing things that they've accomplished this year. Like I said, I will have 2 kids moving on to middle school next year, and it's really exciting to see what we have moving forward with that. As we look ahead towards the summer, I also wanted to say watch out for the summer slide, as most parents can probably attest to for most of their kids. I know I can. Remember, we need to be modeling behavior as parents and caregivers. I know that local libraries at least visited Dublin. I believe they visited all the schools and discussed their summer reading program. So here's a shout out to all the local libraries to really get your kids involved in that. It's amazing. I know they have a lot of great programs at Commerce, at White Lake, at West Acres, all the libraries that are around. So my ask is to read with your kids this summer and, of course, beyond. As we know, America's literacy crisis is well documented, and the reality is that books are never going to compete with YouTube. But it takes us to really advocate and make it a part of our routine. And so if we show that, then maybe our kids will have that love of learning and reading. And as a parent myself, I know rather than at nighttime, rather than doom scrolling at night about randomness, maybe get my own book and really get out there and start reading myself and read to your kids. I think that's the biggest thing is if you read to your kids, let's bring that back. I miss those moments when my children were young and I could read to them Goodnight Moon or whatever it was, numerous times, just having that interaction and that love of reading. And finally, I do believe it is maybe incumbent upon us to have further discussion with the IB program, and I would request actually that we reconsider and restore the IB program. That is my opinion. I don't know if it is favored by the rest, but I would like to restate that or at least talk to the team about what is best for the program and evaluate it appropriately. Those are my 2 cents. I don't know where we'll go with that, but that's my input on that. Finally, just have a wonderful and safe summer. Everyone taking time for yourself, your families, get recharged and ready for the next year. And thank you to my fellow board members, administration, staff members, and to the cabinet for all the work you do for this district.
Mrs. Crafton.
First of all, thank you to all of the parents, students, and community members that spoke tonight. Your voice is heard. Heart is a lot of feelings right now, and you've opened some eyes. So thank you very much for taking the time and having the courage to speak from your wisdom and your lived experience. I'd like to thank the PTSA Council for a beautiful installation and awards celebration. In particular, they created 2 new awards this year. I can't remember the names of them. Hillary Glazer was very clever, so clever I can't remember them. But one was to thank the creation of a PTA at our Early Childhood Center, and the other was to honor the dissolution, I guess, of the Geisler PTA. And as a former Geisler Wolf parent and PTA member, it was a very touching thought to end that era with some recognition for our leadership. Next, I think a highlight of my board service for forever while I'm serving is going to the ATP graduation. People had said it was really moving, and it certainly is high up there on the list. Close second to commencement, which is a long day, but the privilege of getting to see all 3 high schools, how their cultures come out in the commencement ceremony, and the way to see the student body, how they support each other was really, really beautiful. If you have a chance to listen to the featured speaker at the Walled Lake Central commencement, you will be blown away by the leadership of the future. It's worth a YouTube. I'm sure it's there. Finally, this past week, I was able to attend a relatively new group at Walled Lake Schools called the International Thespian Society. Think of this as NHS, but for the theater kids. So they had an induction where if you have been proven to be a hard worker and you've been dedicated in your service to the theater community, both on stage or off, with sustained rigor, you get inducted, similar to NHS. If you continue that involvement, you graduate with cords, similar to NHS. And the district installed 44 new members across the district, and it was a really, really inspiring moment. I look forward to what ITS can do in the future to serve the district and raise the level of awareness of our performing arts department. Finally, there's a survey out. Parents, community, please take the survey. It's really, really important. It doesn't take that much time. The responses are really important, and they are very instructive about the future. So take the time. It's important. And finally, I identify as an ally of the LGBTQ community, so happy Pride. Take care.
Mrs. West.
So the last couple of weeks have been really exciting for staff and students as we're wrapping up the school year with field trips, celebratory picnics, and field days. I'm wishing that everybody has a safe and restful summer with family and friends. I also had the opportunity to attend the ATP graduation of 7 young men And it was just the most beautiful ceremony. Nobody warned me to bring Kleenex, and I wish I would have. But I want to congratulate to all those young men that were graduating, and to quote Jacob, never give up. Regarding our graduation ceremonies, I apologize to Central and Western for not being there, as I had my own graduate, so I chose to be with my family. But I'm proud of every single child who graduated. You did it. I know it's not always easy for every single child. We have children who, have high honors, and school comes a little more naturally to them. They may still have to work hard still, but that doesn't mean that children who, some have to really struggle. They really struggle with their classes, and so be proud of whatever you did, wherever you made it, and you should be proud of what you did. And as you walk in your new path in life, whether it be further education, military, entering the workforce, just give your best effort. And as you celebrate the accomplishment, do so safely and make good choices. And I hate to wrap it up with this, but we've had several emails lately regarding school safety, and we heard about it tonight. And this issue's been a concern presented to the board administration and a few of our schools. And I'm greatly concerned regarding our current approach, as it appears that the current interventions are not helpful in stopping the issues that appear to be repetitively occurring. So while I understand that some means of handling an issue may be determined via a student's IEP, I'm gravely concerned that a threat stated multiple times, according to parents, is not always openly communicated to families. I'm concerned for students who have become disengaged from learning to be moved to a safe environment due to another child's emotional and sometimes violent outburst. And my heart also breaks for the child and their family that are suffering from being unable to regulate themselves, to be able to function appropriately in a general education program. So I've asked this question of Dr. Lanz: how does the district deem what threats are credible versus non-credible? Because I'm concerned that, as they've stated, these kids are making these statements multiple times. When do we know, how do we know when it's not going to be credible and when it is? I don't want to get to the next point where we are the next Oxford or Columbine or any of these other schools. What interventions are we providing to eliminate these disruptive and violent behaviors? And I'd like to see more transparency at a board level, allowing the board to determine what is next, potentially, as it feels the district hides behind too broadly interpreted privacy rules, than giving us information we need. Maybe it doesn't have to do with policy, I'm not sure. Maybe it does, but the information often gets filtered, and I don't feel like we're addressing this situation properly of what may be a board issue. So I'd like to have more of a discussion regarding that. I'd like to see us look into safety and security a little more regarding the student code of conduct versus IDEA and MARS and how they interact with each other. So I'd really like to see more of these protocols looked into. Thank you.
Mrs. Fernandez.
Thank you. By the time I do the sixth board commentary, there isn't much I can say that hasn't already been said. But I will tell you, I've thought a little bit. This is my third graduation this year, which means I've probably shaken 3,000 hands. Sweaty, clammy, happy, cold, whatever, excited. They're all excited, and congratulations to all of them. A couple of just visual things, because I didn't serve until after my kids had gone through school, so I didn't have the distraction of worrying about my own kid graduating. I could just watch and observe across the rooms, and it's interesting to see in today's graduations that, really nearly 30% of kids stand up with multiple cords and honors 4.0 and above. And, I think that's great. I'm thrilled for that. But I also, I can't help but think that's a little fishy, right? Like, what have we done? That 4.0, which is all the way straight through, is, there's just a lot of them. I heard tonight with the IB classes, 30% of kids are taking classes at Western, and I love that program there. But, visually, when the kids graduate and stand up with their IB diplomas, I think the first year I was here, there were 3 of them or 5 of them, right? And so in my own mind, we've asked some questions. We've been getting more stats around IB, so I hope that people feel heard. We're asking about it. We're trying to understand it. There are costs involved with it, and I myself am just trying to reconcile in my own mind hearing and believing that there's 30% of kids taking classes, 30% of kids are standing up with high honors, and when it comes to who's graduating, officially from these programs, it's a very small number, and so I don't exactly know what that means, but I know that this board is committed to understanding better, and we've been getting data from the administration, and I appreciate that, and so recognize those concerns. Congratulations, teachers, for making it through the year, especially those who are obviously, challenged with extraordinary circumstances. Congratulations, parents, and, I hope that you have a good, productive summer, and that kids and parents and students and teachers alike get a chance to reset.
Mr. Siegler.
You're number 5, I'm number 6, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Again, graduation, it's unbelievable. I've had the opportunity of participating in probably somewhere close to 100 graduations in the district over my years, including adult ed, transitions, ATP, Western, Central, and Northern. So each one of them brings its own character to the table. You have different emotions. You have a lot of tears. You have children that you have known since they were born, that you have had the pleasure of watching grow up, and now you have the pleasure of giving them their diploma. When I think back, I remember one student who basically lifted me up off the stage. He was so happy to be graduating. And then years later, when he got married at his wedding ceremony, he walked up to me, and it was a setup, and I didn't know, and he lifted me up at his wedding ceremony. So, you take a lot of memories with you, so congratulations to everyone involved. To the parents and community members that spoke this evening, we heard you. Thank you very much for speaking. It takes a lot of bravery to go to the podium and speak your mind. Prior to being a board member, I was over there many times doing it, so I understand what it takes to do it. To our staff that is retiring, it's probably the largest amount of staff in years retiring that I have ever had in my tenure on the board. I think you're looking at upwards of 1,700 years of experience overall by the time you include everybody. I could be wrong, but I believe it is the largest class of retirees I've seen, and only can wish them well. Dr. Alonz and the board, thank you very much. I think this was a very good evaluation process this evening. I would like to thank my colleagues on the board for their input and the truth and expressions that we had, because that's how we're going to move forward as a board. That's how we're going to move forward in the district. Things that I've been working on or been involved with over the last month, I've made 2 trips to Lansing to hear some of our representatives talk about the budget and talk about school funding. Our budget's going to be turned in at the end of this month. We will probably be lucky if we hear back from Lansing, and I'm going to say this guardedly, sorry, Mrs. Omer. The speculation is October. So we can make all the plans we want to right now, but I'm not sure what's going to happen and what's going to happen at the end, because I know last year at the end we were very disappointed by what we received and by what we heard on the final day, and how we were basically sold out in a lot of areas. I have this ill feeling already now that this is going to be happening again this year for roads and other purposes. So I will keep everybody posted as this happens. We're fortunate that even though they say they're going to be working full-time in Lansing in July and August, I think they have a total of 13 days. that they might meet if they can get a quorum up there. The other thing that I think we will see a lot of action on is cell phone bills and movement. There seems to be a good consensus right now on what they would like to see on cell phone bills for the districts and for our students. And they have made major changes to both of the proposals. I know I'm talking to Representative Tisdale. He has been very amenable to listening to school board members, building administrators, and superintendents. And I see good things happening with this moving forward. I will say this, I don't think some parents will be happy with it, but understand that your child shouldn't be calling you in the event of an emergency. They should be listening to the teacher that is trying to lead them into a safe and protective environment, and not calling mom and saying this is happening, because that's not going to help them specifically get out of it. And I'm speaking from the heart on that one. And Mr. Smith, I love the fact that, as you are talking about your children moving out of middle school, and I am sitting here last week when my grandson called me and said, "Papa, I need a suit for prom." And I said, "Oh, you're going to prom?" And I had to sit back for a second and say, "Oh, wait a minute, you are old enough to be going to prom." So I wish everybody a great summer. I know we still have some work to do over this month, but wishing everybody the best, and look forward to what we will be facing in August and the start of the school year.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to all the speakers that came out today. We all appreciate all of your advocacy. We appreciate hearing what you have to say. So we thank you for standing up and being courageous to do so. All the fantastic events, all the fantastic athletes, all the accolades and all the awards that we heard about tonight, and at graduations and at ATP, it's amazing. And it's a heartfelt, community of support, and our students and our schools, are really putting forth a bunch of very highly educated, children and athletes, and we appreciate that. And we thank all of the kids and all of the families and all of the parents for all of their hard work getting us to this point. We're just about at the finish line. So everyone just brace and hang on, we're almost there. Thank you to our wonderful staff for everything that they've done. Congratulations to all of our retirees, and thank you for all of your time here in the district. I also want to personally thank all of the board members for graduation day. It is a 13-hour day for us, and I appreciate you all, being there, being receptive, watching and paying attention to 5 minutes to get ready to go, and all the enjoyment. It is a fantastic, exhausting for a couple days afterwards, especially if you're my age. It takes a couple days to recover. But it is a fantastic and wonderful event. So I look forward to all of your kids coming up and graduating through that. And we're going to move on to the consent agenda. See, on our consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes for our proposed April 22nd, 2025 special meeting with closed session, May 1st, 2025 special meeting with closed session, May 1st, 2025 regular meeting, personnel recommendations, retirements, resignations, and layoffs, our financial report for April 2025, disbursements in the amount of $17,975,915, balance sheet and statement of revenues and expenditures, unaudited, and investment schedule, and our Head Start Director's report. Ms. Levin, she was quicker.
I move that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Purchases over $50,000. Dr. Lons.
Mr. Scaling.
Thank you, Dr. Lons. Skyward Walled Lake Student Information System allows the district to access student data efficiently and securely. Its comprehensive features provide the ability to track academic progress, attendance, activity participation, and other critical student information. We ask for the approval of the purpose of the annual software license for Skyward, totaling $144,556.38.
Mr. Siegler.
I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of Skyward K-12 Student Management Systems, 3-year commitment, year 1 of 3 annual software license renewal for $144,556.38 from the general fund.
Support.
Discussion. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Just want to keep going.
Yep, keep going.
Mrs. Omer.
Thank you, Dr. Lanz. We're asking for the purchase of the district-wide copiers from Applied Innovation, which was done through a competitive bid, or not a competitive bid, but from a consortium bid that is supposed to be funded out of $1,140,000, $861.73 out of 2024 bond funds. Our copiers are experiencing a significant wear, and as we know, we like to keep our employees, particularly our teachers, when they go to those copiers, we want them to be efficient, we want them to be able to be operational, and this does include the paper cut software that helps us maintain this copier and understand the usage and place those copiers appropriately. In addition, we're asking that the board consider looking at the copiers that we have now so that we can look at those fleets, certainly use those copiers that are still potentially have some useful life, place them in various areas where maybe we have a deficiency, and then also dispose of any residual copiers that may no longer have any useful life.
Ms. West.
I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of district-wide copiers from Applied Innovation in an amount not to exceed $1,140,861.73 and declare copiers identified by district personnel as being obsolete be recycled or scrapped.
Discussion.
Ms. Kaplan, I just want to say I appreciate the district, the diligent approach and thoughtful nature of making sure that every usable machine still gets repurposed in the right place. And this was a thorough process that I was very impressed by.
Anybody else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Keep going, Mrs. Omer.
I was going to say, keep rolling.
We have had a discussion with the maintenance department in regards to high needs equipment that they need to maintain our grounds. I did ask Mr. Watkins today about how many acres we actually maintain within the district, and that's about 400 acres. And obviously having equipment that is operable efficiently and replacing some equipment that is well over 20 years old, it's time that these need to be replaced and provide some efficiency for our staff to be able to utilize. The majority of this equipment is pertaining to lawn equipment and piecemeal, and again, the majority of it is based on a consortium bid. And the amount is $171,000. You'd think I know in numbers I'd be able to say that. I think I've seen too many of them. $171,582.45 to come from the general fund. I think it's called number fatigue.
Breathe. Mrs. Levin.
I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of Operations Department equipment identified by district personnel in an amount not to exceed $171,582.45 from the general fund.
Support.
I do not have number fatigue.
Yeah.
Easy for you to say.
Right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep it rolling.
Our next item relates to our 7th grade math curriculum. Before I turn it over to Mrs. Koyansky, I'd just like to remind the board that in our 6th grade math journal book, this is a consumable book, so this is rolling our 6th graders up to 7th grade. And we have become aware that there are approximately 6 mentions of the prefix MX in this particular journal. And we know that some of our parents have concerns with that prefix. So we are notifying parents when we give the students these books to take home that they are welcome to remove those pages if they choose to do so. There will be no consequence for removing those pages, and those pages will not be used. If the content on that page needs to be still reinforced through homework or through a worksheet activity, that we will produce our own worksheet for that one page to supplement that page. So it'll be parent choice as to whether they like those pages stay in there or not stay in there. Ms. Koyansky, I know you have some additional information.
Yep, thank you, Dr. Lanz. And actually, it's one that we were aware of in the 6th grade. There are 4.
Oh, 4, thank you.
Yes, in the 7th grade book. So the middle school math curriculum, 7th grade, teacher guides and professional development and online support from Anderson G. et al., CPM Inspiring Connections and CPM Educational Program 2024 in the amount of $163,218 from the general fund.
Mrs. Kaplan.
Mr. Siegler.
I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of middle school math curriculum, 7th grade teacher guides, professional development, and online support, Anderson G. et al., CPM Inspiring Connections, CPM Educational Program 2024, for $162,218 from the general fund.
Discussion.
Ms. Kaplan?
Ms. Levin.
So while I appreciate the administration's transparency about what's contained in the curriculum, as I stated, I think it was a couple meetings ago, I'm going to be voting no on any curriculum that doesn't align with what I think needs to be in our curriculum, and it's not because I want to cause any harm to our administration, our students, or anything like that. It's a message we need to send to our publishers. And if we just keep approving things because they say, well, it's here, we'll just approve it, that's not teaching them anything. They're never going to change. So I will be voting no.
Mrs. West.
So again, I also appreciate the transparency here for families that do not want to, include that with their family. However, I was just curious, is this for 1 year or is it for 3 years do you know?
So this is the new curriculum that will carry us forward. So it's to purchase the 7th grade materials that will then take us forward. So as we do those curriculum reviews and things, typically it's every 10 plus years or so when we take a look back at content and curriculum. So last spring, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade resources were approved. Our rollout plan, so as not to overwhelm our middle school staff and overwhelm the professional learning that has to take place, we started with 6th grade. And then we're rolling up to the 7th grade implementation, and the following year to roll up to 8th grade implementation.
Okay.
So, Ms. West, to answer your question, these journals are for just the 7th grade year.
Right. Okay. And then is it possible to request the publisher to edit the curriculum with changes for the future?
We did that, and they are not willing to do that.
They're not willing to do that?
They are not.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-1. Moving on to bid awards over $50,000. Back to Dr. Lenz.
Thank you very much. Walled Lake Consolidated School District and PMR project team recommend the purchasing of pool scoreboards for Walled Lake Central, Walled Lake Northern, Walled Lake Western from Colorado Timing System. The award recommendation is $193,222.84. This will be funded using the 2019 bonds. This is always a planned activity, and it pretty much finishes up our pool renovation for our 3 pools, although there will be some final work done at Walled Lake Northern because they were not in the last phase.
Mrs. Kaplan?
Mr. Smith.
I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of pool scoreboards for Walled Lake Central, Walled Lake Northern, and Walled Lake Western High Schools from Colorado Timing Systems for a total of $193,222.84 from 2019 bond funds.
Support.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Dr. Lenz.
Cafeteria tables at Glengarry Elementary. Walled Lake Consolidated Schools and PMR project team recommend the purchase of cafeteria tables for Glengarry Elementary from Do EI Corporation. The total of the award recommendation is $64,811.96. This will be funded using the 2019 bond funds.
Mrs. Fernandez.
I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of cafeteria tables for Glengarry Elementary from Do EI Corporation for a total of $64,811.96 from the 2019 bond funds.
Support.
Discussion. Ms. Levin.
Dr. Lenz, I apologize for not asking this earlier, not trying to trip anybody up. I'm curious, how does Glengarry need it but not other schools?
Because Glengarry's were not replaced and other schools were.
Okay.
So this is just at the end of the bond fund. We have some contingency funds still available, so we're able to go through and purchase these tables, which at the origination of the bond was not part of the budget.
Got it. Thanks.
Any other discussion? Ms. West.
Just curious, since I have a child at Glengarry, it would be appropriate for me to abstain, or because this benefits the whole school? Am I allowed to vote?
You may vote.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking, though.
But it'll be a lot safer for your child at school at Glengarry now that you sit at the table. It does benefit you personally.
I want to make sure it's out there that like I'm trying to be.
Nope, I appreciate that.
There.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Dr. Lanz?
Back to you, Mrs. Omer.
So the district seeks to establish a new 2-year contract to provide proactive and responsive elevator maintenance services commencing July 1st, 2025. The new contract will help maintain operational efficiency, ensure compliance with safety regulations, and support the long-term reliability of district facilities. Administration recommends awarding the contract to the Lardner Elevator Company, an approximate cost of $40,000 per year, subject to annual adjustments. And as I'm not sure many of you are aware, there are not a lot of elevator companies out there. Right. And so, but this particular one has proven, we have not had our traditional contract with this one, but they have stepped in when we needed them to do some maintenance as well as inspection so that we can make sure that our elevators are available to our public and our students and that they are safe.
You may recall that previously we talked about this, that we need to make sure that we have our contractors aligned with our elevators. So certain elevators, only certain contractors work with, other elevators, only some contractors work with.
Mrs. Fernandez.
We're getting tired.
I move that the Board of Education authorizes the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services to sign a 2-year contract with the Lardner Elevator Company to provide maintenance services to the district with an approximate cost of $40,000 annually to be funded through the general fund.
Support.
Discussion. I'm just going to make the comment that I'm sure we all are waiting to hear. When you're in high school, do not buy an elevator pass. Right, do not do that. For any of you that are listening, there is no such thing. So it's on the record. So.
High school, is it middle school?
No, no.
Now it's
well, I guess okay. Well, I'm just familiar with the high school elevator pass. So don't do that. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Dr. Lanz.
Happy to turn this over to Mr. Scaling.
Thank you, Dr. Lanz. The Walled Lake Special Olympics team is made up of athletes who have previously attended Walled Lake schools, along with currently enrolled athletes in classrooms across the district. As a nonprofit organization under the umbrella of Special Olympics, Team Walled Lake offers inclusive sports programs similar to the Unified Sports Initiative within the district. The Walled Lake Special Olympics track and field team is requesting for the 24-25 season, the program fees associated with facility usage be waived. Waiving these fees would allow the program to redirect the funds toward future competitions, uniformed equipment, scoreboards, athlete accommodations, and other necessary costs.
Ms. Levin.
I move that the Board of Education approve the request to waive the facility usage fees for the Walled Lake Special Olympics team for the 2024-25 track and field season totaling $1,834.
Support.
Discussion.
A friendly amendment. Wouldn't this be the 25-26 year?
Yes,
I'm guessing, unless we're waiving last year's.
No, we're not waiving last year's, but I'm not sure that their years align with our years either.
Okay. In spirit, I'm
What's
good.
that, Mrs. Byer?
I would say it's a typo.
Okay. So if everyone's good, we'll correct that.
Fine.
Okay. Ms. Byer, make note of that. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to say I truly appreciate and I love having all the Special Olympics and the unified sports teams in our district. I think that's a fantastic thing, and I truly appreciate it all, and it's heartwarming. Heartwarming. I can speak? No, I can't really speak. To hear all and see and listen to all of our athletes, all of our students, it's just very, heartfelt, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Dr. Lanz.
Mr. Scaling, you did so well the first time. You can go again.
Thank you. Appreciate that. The Walled Lake Braves Youth Football and Cheer Program is a community-based nonprofit organization based out of Commerce Township that maintains a strong partnership with Walled Lake Western High School. The Braves program is respectfully requesting a continuation of the support with the 50% reduction in rental fees consistent with the rate granted during the 24-25 school year.
Ms. Levin.
I move that the Board of Education approve a 50% reduction in the athletic field rental fees for the 2025-26 school year for the Walled Lake Braves football and cheer program in accordance with Board Policy 7002 AR fee schedule school facilities.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Back to Dr. Lons again.
I'm really enjoying hearing you, Mr. Scaling, so if you could just do one more for us, that'd be
I'd
great.
be happy to. Thank you, Doctor. Michigan High School Athletic Association sponsors statewide tournaments of various sports that we offer. To retain membership, it is necessary for the Board of Education to annually adopt the resolution for its respective schools. The resolution states that the Board of Education hereby delegates the superintendent or his or her designee the responsibility for the supervision and control of said activities, and hereby accepts the Constitution and bylaws of said association and adopts as its own the rules, regulations, interpretations as published in the current handbook as the governing code under which the said school shall conduct its programs of interscholastic athletics, and agrees to primary enforcement of said rules, regulations, interpretations, and qualifications. In addition, it is hereby agreed that schools which host or participate in the association meets and tournaments shall follow and enforce all tournament policies, procedures, and schedules.
Mrs. Kaplan.
Mr. Siegler.
I move that the Board of Education adopt the Michigan High School Athletic Association membership resolution as presented.
Support.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, we're moving on to our subcommittee updates. We're going to start with the bond subcommittee. Ellis.
I'm going to take that.
Okay, Ms. Crafton is going to discuss that.
So last week, the bond subcommittee met. Members are Mr. Siegler, Ms. Levin, and myself. We met with Dr. Lons, Ms. Bear, and the representative from Plant Moran Real Point. Ms. Levin was not available to attend due to a conflict that she shared with us in advance. We discussed through a presentation the updates on the progress on the 2019 bond, getting close to wrapping up the projects there. And then we discussed the priority projects for the 25-26 academic year that will be funded with the 2024 bond. I'm very pleased by the thoroughness of Real Point, Plant Moran Real Point's transparency, their presentation. They answered our questions with thoughtfulness, and this is my first year serving on the bond subcommittee, but I feel like I'm getting everything that, all of the questions that I have had answered. We do expect them to have a presentation during the next meeting, June 19th. We gave a little bit of feedback to the presentation, and I welcome board members to engage with it. I think you're going to be pleased to see the progress that's been made. Mr. Siegler, anything to add?
Part of the process also was relative to the cost savings that we are benefiting from by having somebody oversee the activities separate of what we were doing here within the board. And I am happy to see some of the return and savings that we have been afforded to this point, and look forward to more of that as we go through the bond. And I was very happy to look at the timeline and minor tweaks already to the timeline as we're moving forward, that again he will present at the next meeting.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the policy subcommittee. That consists of Mrs. Fernandez, Mr. Smith, and myself, and we meet regularly, quite a bit. We work really a lot on our policies. We have finalized, and it's, I'm going to kind of combine here, finalized and are presented to the board, our board operating procedures that for your review, for you to look at, for you to go over, make comments, and we'll be voting on those in our August meeting. So, please, comments, questions, concerns?
Do that this month on the 19th.
Well, you have it right here as August.
August. I'd love to do it this month.
Do it on the 19th.
I'd love to
That's my mistake.
Okay, then we're fixing that date because I'm just reading the date.
Yeah. That's fair.
We're going to do it on June 19th at our next meeting. So if you have questions and concerns and thoughts prior to that, please send it to the committee so that we can discuss and try to review. Go ahead.
I noticed, Ms. Kaplan. Of those, there is 2 words are typed twice, like about the in one of the sections. And then one of the other things I think inadvertently we might have deleted in the code of conduct section, because if you read it, it doesn't flow.
Yeah.
There's like a section that should really be dropped down that just says the code of conduct is as follows, or whatever. So I don't know how the board would like to, if I make that amendment.
We can just make those changes.
Okay.
And resend it out.
Okay, it's nothing substantial, it's just more of just adding that typo.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hold on.
Oh, yep, go ahead, Mrs. Fernandez.
I just wanted to say that we've tackled this set for reading for quite some time now in a number of different meetings. And we will all be excited to move on. We acknowledge and hear folks asking for us to look at policies that impact the comments that we hear regularly and other things, and we do balance that with Miller-Johnson updates that are advised for us. And so I think we will all on the bond subcommittee be excited to think about moving on to something else and something that feels like it's responsive to the multiple requests that we get to revisit, or articulate policies.
Agreed. With that, we are adjourned at 9:39. I hope everyone has a great evening, and I'm not going to say happy summer since we'll be back in a couple weeks.